We're looking at your overall energy, what you don't see coming, opportunity and challenge. This could be for your sun, moon, rising, or any heavy placements you might have in Taurus, or it could be for your favorite Taurus person or someone you're wanting to check up on. Now, please crisscross energies, because sometimes I am reading an energy here and it might be energy around you. So what that means is that the heaviest energy sometimes pulls through here, and you'll have to just determine whether that's you or someone around you that's going on around you, okay? So just crisscross it. And we are looking at overall, and now we're asking Spirit for what you don't see coming. Spirit for Taurus energy, what do they not see coming? Clear and concise message for the greatest and highest good of Taurus. Please protect me and the viewer as I channel this message. Thank you so much, Taurus, for allowing me to tap into your energy and the energy around you at this time. I'm truly blessed. Thank you so, so much. So we have your opportunity here with these three exactly as they fell, and then your challenge. Challenge for Taurus Spirit. I don't know why I flipped that one. I guess it wanted to be flipped. Perfect. And advice from Spirit. Advice, guidance for Taurus Spirit. What is the guidance and the advice for beautiful Taurus for the month ahead? Now, all my readings are timeless, okay? Although I am reading for the new moon in Pisces. So, if you're watching when I post, then this Pisces new moon is the energy that we're sitting in with this new moon. Pisces is dreamy energy. Let's pull the Lenormand cards for a little bit more sort of dynamic here in this reading for Taurus Spirit. 3 cards for Taurus. 1, 2, 3. Perfect. Okay, 1 oracle card for the energy Spirit is wanting you to encompass for the lunar month ahead. What energy is Taurus needing to encompass here for the month ahead? Thank you, Spirit. Okay. Chaos. Interesting. So, what does this mean? I'm picking up an energy here of Spirit understanding something you're creating here with this spider web. And I feel like it has either completely fallen apart or you're completely in a whirlwind here. And so I feel like the lesson here, which Spirit is showing, is that whatever you're going through is divinely guided and meant to sort of throw you in some sort of chaos, like not knowing sort of what's going to happen, you know, learning to trust in yourself. I'm feeling a very strong sort of spiritual energy coming from you. So you might be quite gifted, like with your clairs. So you might be clairaudient, clairvoyant, clairsentient, whatever the clair is that you have here. But so, some sort of psychic ability maybe. And so you might be really, really intuitive in some way. And I think you were trying to create something, work on something. And I feel like this has happened and it's kind of flipped you on your axis in some way, because it's really pushing you outside of some sort of comfort zone, and maybe you're questioning your ability, or it's really stretching your abilities here to really rely on your own psychic ability, your own sort of intuitive know-how in times of chaos. So, I mean, Spirit doesn't want to just throw you in chaos just for the sake of causing you pain, because all of these lessons come with great reward. You know, it like stretches us as an individual. It allows us to ascend and to grow spiritually. So I feel like there is a spiritual lesson here being learned from being thrown into, I feel, darkness and unknowing here. And it feels quite scary. And it could be that you're pretty good with your intuition, generally speaking. And now we're in a situation here where we can't rely on our intuition, or we don't know how, because of what's happened. And so we're having to sort through. And this is the lesson of, you know, how do we find our way through this? How do we rely on ourselves? How do we know when to depend on the universe? What's going to happen now based on what I've created, and where can I still create like there's a lot of question marks here, okay? And I feel a lot of topsy-turvy energy, but Spirit is wanting you to understand that sometimes we're thrown into fear in order for us to really, really understand ourselves better and gain certain experience, so that once we go through on the other side, it's like we can kind of withstand anything, you know. It's meant for a reason. It's kind of what I'm feeling here with this chaos. So I'm feeling heavy Scorpio energy coming through with the chaos, but let's keep going in your reading here, Taurus. So we have the Ace of Cups, we have the Page of Cups, and the Five of Cups. Oh my goodness. So Cups is all about our emotions. And this is an emotional new beginning. And this is learning to love self and what to invest in and what's going to bring us emotional fulfillment. And this is like the beginning stages here, because a Page of Cups is like opening that heart space. It's like early stages of emotional sort of expression. But with the Five of Cups, this is like we could have experienced heartbreak, but just disappointment, sadness, looking back on a situation that didn't work. Emotionally, it was unfulfilling or left us feeling very much like saddened by what has happened. So I'm feeling that spider web thing with the beginning of creating something worthwhile, emotionally satisfying, and then pouring, you know, considering pouring ourselves into something, and then it may be spilling or falling over, and it's kind of like back to the drawing board, or what we tried to create didn't work and now it's spilt. And so there's still two cups standing here. So Spirit is confirming, like, although it's chaos, there's still something positive here. And maybe we're not seeing it. More moon energy. So certainly there's subconscious things that need to get looked at, fears, and we need to cut through any sort of illusions we might be having. And I think some part of the illusion is when we are acting out of subconscious, we start to tend to see things to support beliefs. And it could be a belief that keeps us in a negative cycle, or it could be a belief of something we want to see in order to keep up a story of sorts. But I feel like Spirit is saying there are two cups here. There's an ability to have an emotional new beginning, to be fulfilled, to be young with this energy of exploring this. And this still exists for you in some way. But how do we navigate through this when we suffered maybe disappointment, or maybe we're comparing it to a situation where we've experienced sadness, or maybe in the same situation we've experienced sadness, so we're still focused on what didn't work. And now it's like, how do I navigate back to my Two of Cups here so I can start over in some way or give to this? There's a emotionally sort of immature energy, but it's like more of an immaturity of having to learn a lesson rather than being immature, so to speak. It's like a young energy here of having to learn something of self. And maybe we have to learn the lesson of going through what didn't work in a painful way and being thrown into this chaos so that we can see what we're responsible for, you know, and what others might be responsible for, but not wallowing maybe, or keeping stuck, or looking back on things that keep us stuck or couldn't work, and knowing how do we move our way out of this so we can build again, no matter how fearful or whatever transpired here, because we're deserving of an emotional new beginning, and we're deserving of self-love and giving to ourselves and having a full cup of love and being fulfilled within ourselves before we can offer it to someone else or open ourselves up here again. Okay, what you don't see coming, we have the Ten of Pentacles revealing itself. So normally when we have cards that reveal themselves, it is what is aware to us. It's not in the subconscious. It's the things that we're most likely already knowing. Of course, depending where you fall in this energetic timeline, it might still not be relevant to you or prevalent yet. But if you're kind of in line with the energy I'm reading here, these cards are revealing themselves as things that you already know. And then the cards that are face down are like in your subconscious. So things we're not quite seeing as of yet. Okay, and I know I flipped one of these. I mean, it happened obviously for a reason here, so we'll get to the challenge in a bit, but what you don't see coming here, we have a 10 of Pentacles. So, I mean, what you don't see coming obviously is something you're not seeing, but I feel like intuitively, again, because I was feeling you have this innate ability intuitively to know this 10 of Pentacles, it's like building something that would stand the test of time, like this long-term vision of what you were trying to create here with this spider web, like creating a foundation, creating maybe a home, creating a solid thing here for yourself, like that would stand the test of time, you know, that would really, really be solid and not be shakeable in some way. Like you had a vision of, or you have a vision of what would be solid here. So let's see what you don't see coming. We have the Fool and we have the Hangman. So 2 major arcanas here, and this is Pisces energy coming through. I feel like the universe is putting us in a place of pause here, okay, with the Hangman. And the pausing of the universe is always important when we're being asked to stop and reflect. And because I see the Pinocchio figure here, okay, looks like Pinocchio, there could have been an understanding that we had that was a lie, either to self or an in denial or some truth that might have kept us in an energy here that might have not have been helping us. And it could have been a truth, but a truth that conflicts with another truth that could also be very much a truth, which is we deserve the happiness. Like maybe we experience, you know, 3 of Cups falling down, which is a truth, but it's like, is it going to be a truth for the rest of your sort of being here? Is it going to be the be all end all of why you can't create something? Or is there another truth saying, yes, because something didn't work and the cups spilt, and that's true, but now it's no longer my truth. Now I see things differently here. I could see things and say, I could still build this thing. I still have a vision of what I can build here. Okay, but I have to understand like where I'm going to sort of start over. Like I could foolishly stay in an energy of giving to what didn't work or seeing things from the same sort of perspective here and not learning any lesson of it. Or I could take this pause and say, what do I want to sort of have a new beginning in? What do I want to emotionally invest in and offer maybe my cup of love, or where I want to create this creation, whatever the creation, the stability, the foundation is that I see for my long term. But I have to tweak how I see where I'm building it or where I'm jumping into it. It has to make sense. I can't lie to myself about where I thought it was going to be created or that something didn't work. So therefore now I'm kind of stuck to that energy forevermore. Like what can I do here in order to still build this structure? So I think what you don't see coming is your perspective here shifts in a way that this pause, this chaos allows you to really work with yourself and the universe to how you want to create this. So let's look at your opportunity. We have the 5 of Pentacles in reverse, the Tower in reverse, and the 6 of Swords in reverse. So the opportunity here, I really feel, is this thing that didn't work, that caused you to go into chaos. Like that's this Tower. Okay, and I feel like when we see the Tower in reverse and right beside this like 6 of Swords in reverse, it's like, the quicker we can be honest, the quicker we can change your perspective. And when I say honest, like I'm not saying like you're choosing to lie, but it's like the quicker we can sort of call out what's not working anymore, the quicker we can shift the way we're seeing things that broke or upside down in our life or causing the web not to be built or the structure to be built. The sooner we can call it out, the sooner it can fall down and the truth can then start to be worked on. Like it'll free me. I can move out of chaos. I can move out of the 5 of Swords. I can move towards calmer waters. It will free me to move on to what I can build and create, that I know I have this vision of what I want. Or I could stay here trying to keep up this lie or this untruth, and it could keep me stuck here. And I keep sort of staying in this chaos, maybe rebuilding my web, and it keeps getting broken in some way, like a fool, just jumping into the same thing, restarting over and over. Or I could like really acknowledge that something here is not as solid as it needs to be, or the foundation isn't where I want to build this web. I can't create my long-term vision and structure in this home that I thought would have been this home. So I need to be honest, like, you know, and so this will get me out of my Five of Pentacles. Because if I keep staying in an energy here where I can't build what it was that I wanted, the safe thing, like I feel you want to build a safe like home place or a safe structure. And if the environment doesn't allow for this, we feel like left out, and we're just feeling like we're incapable of getting what we want here, but we know it's not the truth. So I think your opportunity is to allow the tower to fall. Allow yourself to come out of the cold so that you can understand where you might be in a sabotage type energy here, or staying in the suffering when you don't need to stay in the chaos anymore. You don't need to stay in a Five of Cups or maintain a Five of Swords. Allow the truth to sort of fall down here in order to steer you towards a Ten of Pentacles. So the challenge, we see the Three of Swords, the Knight of Cups, which revealed itself, and the Eight of Cups. So this is, you know, heartbreak. It's like words, actions, intentions that left us feeling very sad. It could be separated from the ones we love, feeling left out in the cold, separation and heartbreak. And I was feeling that from this Five of Cups was like this heartbreak, you know. And it's like the Knight of Cups is how we express ourselves, how we show love. Do we engage in showing love towards something that has broken our heart in some way here? Or do we walk away from things that emotionally might not be making us feel good in some way towards our Ninth Cup? But we'd have to walk away, which is very hard to do here, right? So Eight of Cups is doing the opposite here of a reverse Six of Swords, which is kind of staying in turbulence and chaos. We can take this pause period, because sometimes Eight of Cups is like retreating and really asking ourselves, like, what does emotional fulfillment look like? And maybe at one point where we tried to build the web, it was emotional fulfillment, but it's no longer bringing that to me. And now it's just bringing me heartache and heartbreak. So now I need to withdraw and really ask myself, like, what would bring me happiness so I can leave a situation and move forward, so I can fully express and show my love here towards something that would bring me love, you know, and make me feel loved in return, not heartbroken. And this also gives me Facebook. I don't know, maybe social media is involved here, might be significant here. Maybe something was said over social media for some of you guys, not all of you guys. And I think this transformed the situation here. It's brought in a lot of sadness. Okay, so, and maybe this is also part of the challenges. I don't know, maybe you're constantly like having to see someone around in social media, which brings a lot of pain. So you might have to disconnect from their social media in some way, or just not keep engaging in the social media, because I feel it keeps kind of reopening some wound here. And it makes it more difficult for you to sort of walk away. So let's look at the Lenormand cards. We have the House, we have the Rider, and we have the Garden. So we see Peacock here, which I didn't notice before. Peacock is ego. It's our pride. And the House here is all about the structure and the stability. It's the home, the family life, you know, and if it's about work, it could certainly be what we've considered our home, because we create our structure around that workplace. But I feel like this is more of a like, yeah, like our soul family. We're trying to build a home and our structure stability around here. And so we might have a lot of pride on the line here. We might still have a lot of ego wrapped up in this. So it's hard to let the tower fall when we have to admit something didn't work, because we're trying to build on shaky ground and let the sort of the house or the tower fall so that we can build structure here, but acknowledge where we might be in ego in some way. The rider is positive energy because it's bringing in sort of fresh energy. Rider comes with news and expresses itself, although in this rider, we see a snake here. And the snake, to me, when we see serpent, it sometimes represents healing and wisdom. But what I'm getting from this snake is trickery. And sometimes we get that in the Lenormand. Snakes mean trickery. And it could mean someone wasn't being honest. And it could also represent the other woman in the Lenormand. So I don't know, like, were we dealing with a third party situation, or were someone's really, yeah, like fucked up our home life here, you know, where we were building a home or creating this web. And so now we're in total darkness here, upside down. It's like our family vision of what we thought would be the long-term family is like turned upside down in some way. And someone's been maybe very sharp with their words, because I'm getting kind of Knight of Swords here with this pointy unicorn. And because the social media and this pointy sword here pointing at the heart too, it's like maybe someone said something that was very painful, or the truth came out, or we saw something on social media. And that's for some of you guys. I know it's very specific. And sometimes these messages come through, so I have to deliver them, even if it's just one person here. It's like finding out about, I don't know, like deceit, or like I said, like the other woman. I mean, woman, it could be the other person here being lied to, you know, and maybe this person like being confrontational about it in some way. Like it's causing chaos to the home, or it's like causing heartbreak to the structure that we could have had, or rocking the foundation of the stability here that could have been with the pointy sword here, and trying to stand a battle. And so this Garden card is all about the network of people. This is events. This is going out. Yeah, like the network of people we hang out with, the parties, events, and I'm getting like really literal, like, I don't know, maybe there was an event where something had happened, you know, or you witness the way someone is, maybe around their network of people, that kind of rocked the stability here of something maybe you thought could be very solid. And it might have just turned it upside down, like something now that doesn't really, it's kind of like a little less meaningless here. Like you can't really build structure here in the garden. It's like a temporary sort of thing where maybe you thought someone was pure. Yeah. Let's see advice from spirits. So we have the Four of Wands. Yes, this is the home. Okay, this is like coming together, building the structure. This is like stability, the foundation. This is also the network community of people here that we call our soul family. I also get 1111 from the Four of Wands, which to me always talks about a soul connection. So this is like soul connection coming together, celebration. This is also celebration. We have here Five of Wands, conflict, arguments, Seven of Wands in the reverse, and Chariot in reverse. So yeah, I feel like there's this upside down chaos where we were ready to celebrate or come together with creating a foundation with someone, and maybe there was a lot of conflict or having to compete with their attention or their friend group or another person here that made a lot of conflict. And so it's like retreating here with the Seven of Wands. It's like not fighting, like not wanting to fight and compete or argue here, and not moving forward, you know. The Chariot in reverse sometimes could mean very reckless sort of energy where we don't really think, or things are moving really fast. So maybe you catch yourself in chaos, like in darkness really fast because of how things unfold here. But I don't think this is something you're finding out that you don't see coming. I just feel like what you don't see coming here is your perspective about where to build this foundation. So I feel like this is something maybe you already have known, but you're getting more clarity around where can you then build this structure, you know, if this message resonates for you, so you can be successful, so you can move forward with the universe and like build in a balanced way here. But there's a need for you to know what's worthy of you fighting for, and what's worthy of you just sort of not fighting, you know. Like sometimes we are right in our position, but is it worthy of fighting for our position here if we have to compete with, I don't know, like other set of circumstances or people here who just want to argue in some way? But I feel like something got stuck and it didn't pan out the way we had wanted. So we're really needing to let the tower fall and accept some sort of truth here, okay? In order for things to get better, in order for us then to move towards something that would be more fulfilling here. Because I do feel like there's, with the white horse here, like I feel like this, for me, is representing purity, freedom, and also like someone very, pure coming in here to deliver something that could be pure and stable, but we're needing to understand where we could find that, where our soul family is, and where we're investing in building this stability. But there's a need to become very honest and see your perspective here of how we're seeing things that didn't work out. Okay, so this is what I have for you guys. Beautiful Taurus. I hope this resonated. I love you so much. Check out your other signs, and I will see you there. Bye. Hello, my most beautiful Libra. Cannot wait to do your new moon zodiac reading. I have lined up all my zodiac readings to fall with the lunar month rather than the calendar month, because energetically it just makes a lot more sense lining up with the lunar energy. So I am recording for the new moon in Pisces, and this is a timeless reading, so it doesn't have to necessarily be that new moon, because this will resonate for you whenever you click on it, if the messages are resonating for you. Okay, so let's take a look at Libra energy, sun, moon, rising, or any heavy Libra placements you might have, or someone you're inquiring about that might have heavy Libra. We'll look at the overall energy, what you don't see coming, opportunity, challenge, and of course advice from Spirit for the lunar month ahead. Okay, so Spirit, clear and concise message for the beautiful sign of Libra. Can we get the overall energy for Libra, clear and concise? Please protect me and the viewer as I channel this message. Thank you so much. And thank you so much, Libra, for allowing me to tap into your energy and the energy around you at this time. I am truly blessed. Thank you so, so much. I'm so grateful that you are here with me today. All right, Libra energy. So overall, and what you don't see coming. Spirit, clear and concise message here for the sign of Libra. Opportunity for the lunar month ahead. Opportunity for Libra. Four of Cups in reverse revealing itself. Challenge for Libra for the month ahead. The challenge for Libra. Woo. Take the one that revealed itself. We got a few falling in my lap. A little too many. Okay, so we have Strength in reverse revealing itself. One more for the challenge, Spirit, for Libra. One more challenge. This one right here. Thank you, Spirit. And let us pull the advice, guidance from Spirit for Libra. Guidance, advice for Libra. One more. Perfect. Now we'll pull the Lenormand cards, which give this reading a little bit more depth here. Some more insight. Spirits, can we get 3 cards here for beautiful sign of Libra for the lunar month ahead? Perfect. And now 1 oracle card for the energy Libra is being encouraged to encompass for this lunar month ahead. Whoa, we got 3 cards here. Spirit, do we take them? Yes. Okay. Spirit wants me to take all 3. So, energy for Libra to encompass. We have autumn, we have Neptune, and we have blood. Oh my goodness, look at these colors. You know what I'm getting? I'm getting like root chakra, sacral chakra, and then I'm getting throat chakra here from the red, orange, and the blue. So let's talk through this energy. Blood, this is being revitalized here. You know, blood is the life source here of everything. It is passion. I mean, I see a rose. Rose for me sometimes is even about romantic love. But red is passion, and red could also mean anger. You know, and we're seeing red, but it's like giving life to something. Autumn is all about us reaping the harvest of maybe being in a period where we've put in a lot of work and we've tended to something without any sort of reward. And now we're ready to engage with our family or friends and enjoying what we've put in a lot of our energy and our effort towards. And it's also about things shifting, maybe things that served a purpose now are sort of slowly dying off in some way. So we're having to understand what is still available to us that still we can use or utilize or still serve us, and what is no longer going to serve us, and what's going to fall away in order to make way for the new in some way or prepare for the next phase. And then we have the Neptune, and Neptune is sort of this dreamy energy here. It is Pisces. Like I said, I'm recording the new moon in Pisces here, but you know, when we're in Neptune energy, it's like this fantasy type energy. It's like our dreams and our wishes and some sort of fantasy sort of vision that we might, I don't know if Spirit's wanting you to spend more time here with understanding maybe a fantasy you might have here, or we'll have to turn these cards over to see what the reading is about. But all 3 of these together, I feel like you might be going through something here that is really pulling at you to identify the wheat from the chaff. Like, what do you want? What is pie in the sky? What is fruitful for you? What do you actually want to engage with? And what is no longer sort of serving you? What is sort of fantasy in your mind? What is it that Spirit's wanting you to know? And what is doable for you, like without you sort of impacting it with logic maybe, because maybe we're logically trying to understand more than the universe, and the universe is saying sometimes there's things that we're being shown here that don't make a whole lot of sense in order to allow us to grow, that could manifest for us if we're open enough to it. And it could like be our lifeline in some way here, but if we're too fixated on logic, we might not see it or be open to the downloads. And we might not be recognizing where parts of our life we need to sort of button down areas now that are no longer serving us and prepare for a new phase here. Like I'm getting like really heavy, like, you know, in September here anyway, this is like when it starts getting sort of autumn. It's like back to school and it's like a very busy time here, but we're really having to like button down on what's important. And so maybe we've been trying to tell ourselves like what's important, and the universe is maybe has a different idea of what's important for us, you know, and it might be that we're not open to this because we might be used to what we're used to. Or we might be thinking, yeah, this is more pie in the sky or fantasy type thing, and the universe really wants us to grow and stretch and pull us towards what could be doable for us. And it could be our wish, you know, of something here that we fantasized about, but we don't know how to sort of attain this. But so we're really needing to button down here and prepare for like school, or like prepare for this incoming, that I feel something's incoming that's going to be your life source here. Okay, so we'll keep these here and see kind of how this plays out here. But yeah, with the chakras, it's kind of like the root chakra is all about, you know, what do we need for survival? You know, root chakras is when we're sort of just in survival mode and we can't really deal with anything else because it's the most important vital thing here, you know. And then in the sacral here, which is where the ego is stored, it's also about how we deal with intimacy. And so these are really like very lower chakra energies where we carry the most sort of trauma. Sometimes addictions are held here as well. And then in the throat chakra here, it's like being able to communicate, express ourselves, and be authentic with even our deepest desires or wishes, no matter how obscene maybe, right? But it's like being able to communicate, but also how well are we listening to truth? Like either it's coming from divine or coming from others or coming from circumstances that we need to be open or receptive to hearing, because that's throat chakra is all about how we communicate, but are receptive to communication as well, so we understand things. Or else we're kind of out of balance, especially if we're doing things that aren't aligned with what we're needing to kind of do, you know. And I say needing, no one really needs to do anything, but what the universe is aligning us towards here, it's like now the rubber meets the road and we're having to like let whatever fall off and grab whatever is still fruitful in our life and whatever is still the lifeblood that aligns with our next path or some sort of thing here that's authentic to us. So I know it's very spiritual so far getting into that reading, but let's look at your overall energy. We have the 6 of Wands and we have the 10 of Wands in reverse, and then we have the 9 of Wands in reverse. So, and like I said, I don't know if I mentioned, yeah, you can crisscross energy here. If it's not your energy, could be strong energy around you. Okay, so just crisscross energy. If I say this is you, sounds like strong energy around you, then that's what it is. Don't make anything force it to fit. So 6 of Wands, 10 of Wands, 9 of Wands. Like, look at this passion. Like, this is this blood energy. Like, oh my goodness. And again, like the rose, like, I don't know. There's a lot of passion here with the Wands, a lot of drive, but I'm also picking up a lot of ego, especially because we're seeing the 2 lower chakras. That's where ego. Okay, so 6 of Wands is an ego card for me, but it is a success card, and it's how we're perceived, and it could be how we're perceiving ourselves or what we're telling ourselves is successful in some way. And it's right beside the 10 of Wands and the 9 of Wands in reverse. So this is like we can no longer keep something up. This is like us kind of giving up or throwing in the towel because it's too burdensome. So I feel like you'd know this energy. Okay, I know this is for the lunar month, but this is kind of the overall energy here. Is like, I want to be successful. I want to know which fruits I'm going to be picking here, what's going to be ripe. But I have to also let go of what's dying off, you know, like whatever was pie in the sky maybe, and whatever's not, and whatever's my lifeline, and whatever's too heavy for me to carry. I can't keep fighting for something if it's not fruitful. So I have to throw in the towel and accept defeat where I can. And then I have to accept the victory where I can have victory and where I can have success. And I can't really let my ego kind of get involved here, because I feel like emotion or passions are running really high here, and potentially emotions with all this blue as well. But it's like we're really passionately being fired up by something, like with this blood source here. Okay, so let's take a look at what you don't see coming then and see how things are tied. If I do need clarifiers by the end, we'll pull the clarifiers. Sometimes the reading starts to make sense near the end, so just kind of bear with me as we go through this. The messages come out as you're needing to hear them. So what you don't see coming, we have the Two of Swords in reverse, we have the Queen of Cups, and we have the Queen of Wands. Wow, okay, so we have water energy, Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces, and then more Wands energy with the Queen of Wands, Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. So, Two of Swords in reverse. Two of Swords could be where we're sitting with our head in the sand, not wanting to make a decision. Sometimes in denial card, or sometimes just we're better off keeping peace in a situation. And I feel like right now, what you don't see coming here is a need to make a decision here, okay? Because I feel like you can only have sat idle for so long before the decision needs to be made. Or else not making a decision pushes you towards a corner that you might not necessarily like. Like, for example, in the fall time, you know, if we're like needing to do our harvest and we just allow everything to like just fall away, it's just going to rot. Or we could get out there and like allow things that are rotten to fall, but then pick the things that are still ripe and bring them in so we can share with our family and have abundance. But we need to get out there and sort of, again, pick the things that are abundant and discard the things that aren't. Like what's going to be fruitful for us. And having a very honest mind about it. But I don't know how much is authentic and honest to what we want. And how much of this maybe you feel is, again, Neptunian energy, like fantasy, and maybe you're not wanting something to be true because you're thinking it's fantasy. Again, I'm not sure which it is. And it could be because maybe we have flip people here. Okay, like you'll know sort of what side you're on. Like, are you seeing something that's a fantasy here as something that's true, and in your soul you know it's not because there's so much passion riding on this thing? Or are we sticking to safety and same old thing here, but we know that there's something we desire that's authentically aligning to us that we're refusing, but it speaks to our soul here? Like emotionally here, we're feeling a lot of love. Okay, so I feel there is a mask being worn here with this Queen of Wands, and I feel like it's this energy that I'm reading. So if this is you that I'm reading, then this is your mask. Ego, 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 okay? And then the ego here that I see, because sometimes I say ego, people get offended. They think it's like, oh, I'm not cocky, or I'm not egoic in the way that I think I'm like better than everyone else. And no, it's like ego here could just be being stuck to a thought of ourselves, like an identity that we told ourselves that we are. And so we start to live our life in that way and start to tell ourselves that that's who we are. And then we want people to see us in that way. And we start to tell ourselves that that's who we are. But it's a mask that we're wearing at the expense of our authentic self. And so I feel like there's some sort of like love here coming with this Queen of Cups. This is like creative energy. This is a very intuitive, deep, emotional, giving, compassionate queen. And the Queen of Wands in reverse is maybe someone who isn't appreciated for her self-worth, who might be wearing a mask, who might be not being valued, who might not be going after what it is that she wants in some way or really loves here in an authentic way to upkeep some sort of mask or illusion or some perception of self. But I feel like we can't know more. Something's falling apart here with the 10 of Wands in reverse and throwing in the towel with the 9 of Wands. Like something we were trying to upkeep, something we were trying to fight for. Spiritual warrior. We've been through battle here. And then something just happens where it just kind of, we can't know more. It's too heavy to carry maybe this illusion that we were carrying, that we were saying who we were. Keeping this mask up is very tiring. So I feel like what you don't see coming here is like having to make a choice now, you know, and because it's a sword, it's like choosing the sword that's authentic, choosing the truth that's honest, choosing the truth that lines up with what we know to be true, not necessarily coming from an egoic place, like really coming from our heart space here. So let's look at the opportunity. So the Four of Cups revealed itself. So for me, it's something that is that you're aware of, that's prevalent to you already. Anything that's kind of face down is in the subconscious. We're not quite seeing it yet. So the fact that we have the Four of Cups in the up, like in the face up here. It is in the reverse in the opportunity. It's like we know we can get out of emotional unhappiness. Four of Cups, boredom, not happy, emotionally just blah. Okay? And so we want to get out of this. We don't want to stay in this sort of woe is me energy. You know, nothing's making me happy. I'm not really speaking to my emotions in a way that really is deep and fulfilling. I see this dream or this fantasy of something that didn't happen or couldn't happen or won't happen. And so now I don't want anything at all, or I just want to sit here. So we want to come out of this. I feel like there's an opportunity for you to come out. So we have the Tower and the Knight of Pentacles. So yeah, opportunity here's like this Tower falling, because this is sudden, sort of either a sudden realization, a sudden event, something that happens. And I feel like it could certainly be all of a sudden this Tower happens with this Ten of Wands. Like we can't no more. The Tower falls because of something that happens where the mask has to fall away. And we could no longer invest in something that we could have been just constantly sort of at here, okay? Because Knight of Pentacles, consistently grinding and putting in effort. It might have taken us a very long time here. But I mean, this is long, slow, steady, consistent. It's kind of boring energy where I feel like there's the fiery, passionate, more speaking to your emotions here. And I feel like there's a no longer moving towards the direction of something that is faulty. That could be a lie. That was something you were maybe trying to keep up here with the Two of Swords by not dealing with something or not wanting to see something. And maybe something forces, like the universe, sometimes when we sit Two of Swords too long and we don't decide, the universe will do something in order for us to see and have to act. And it pulls the rug from under us in some way where it doesn't want us to keep investing or moving towards something that won't be emotionally fulfilling. So I feel like this is an opportunity rather than a challenge, you know? So I don't feel like this is something that is so shocking or it leaves you devastated, but I feel like it's shocking because I don't think you were expecting that you'd have to make a decision because something would happen as quickly as it did. Or it left you with, you know, just give me a second. Sure, is my daughter coming home. So you might hear some background noises here. But yeah, it's like, because this is an opportunity here, it's like, it's kind of a good thing that this event happened. Although I do think it's going to be shocking in some way, because I don't think you were expecting that maybe it'd be over in a way where, okay, the charade is up, or I can't carry this no more. Like, this is the one straw too many. Like, I'm just throwing in the towel now because of this event that's kind of happened, or this thing, the circumstance that now has to make me take a look at the mask I've been wearing, or the charade is up here. Like, I can no longer do this in some way. Like, I now need to look at what the universe wants to give to me in some emotional blessing sort of way, because it's speaking to me more now. You know, it's like my lifeblood. Like, if I stay in this position much longer, I'm going to lose all the fruit here. And I'd rather have some substance than nothing at all if I don't act or acknowledge something here. Even if that means revealing my true self, or, you know, something about not being appreciated in some way, or showing maybe your self-appreciation because we're not aligning with our true heart's compassion in some way, or what emotionally pulls to us. So let's look at the challenge. Again, strength is the only one that revealed itself here, and it's in reverse. So this is also an ego card for me. Okay, so lots of ego cards kind of showing up. Usually when I see ego, I think Leo. Okay, not that Leos are egotistical, but Leo coming through very strong here. So strength in reverse, it's like we need to know when to sort of pull back and when we're able to move forward. It's knowing how to control things in a way that we're not being held back by fear, you know, and we can allow ourselves to come out with honest truths without fearing judgment, and knowing that we're moving towards what we want. But if we're held back because of how we'll be judged, or we feel we're not capable of it, or we don't have the courage to do this because we're revealed in some way, like, I think the challenge here is you really stepping forward in your courage, really stepping forward towards what you want, really embracing something here. This is a challenge, and I think you know this because, like I said, it's right side up, or it's face side up. So let's look at the cards around this. We have the Six of Cups in reverse, and the Nine of Pentacles in reverse. So this to me is giving me like person, place, thing of the past. It feels very homey, something we've committed emotionally to, our family, our friends, our hometown, or whatever thing that emotionally kept us dependent on it. It provided us with an identity and a structure. It gave us either financial stability, or it provided us with some sort of security. And so we really relied on it for this pentacle, like the practical aspect of ourselves. And so we were really stuck. I think the challenge is like being very stuck and having the courage to say, I can find independence in a practical way and stand on my own. I don't need a set of circumstances or people here to depend on. If that means I have to sacrifice my own emotional happiness, if that means I have to really be courageous and be honest with myself and drop any sort of masks that I'm wearing, that I'm telling myself I have to be strong, or the longer I'm in a situation that brings me emotional unhappiness, like the stronger I am, or, you know, I got to depend on this thing here, because I feel like there's a difficult time separating your identity self from this thing, person, or place of the past. My cat is scratching, which usually means he's confirming exactly what I'm saying. I'm going to let him out. I'll be right back. Sorry about that. 2 pauses. I haven't had any pauses in my reading so far. So yeah, I don't know, stop and start energy here. And maybe that's it. Like, take time here in reevaluating, course correcting. I'm feeling Chariot energy for some reason. We might still see Chariot, but it's like having to, yeah, like the strength sometimes is like Chariot energy, because it's like knowing how to control things, when to move forward here and face any fear that might come in letting go of something that we were dependent on, you know, that might have been since childhood, or it could be, you know, yeah, like if we, I don't know, like a soulmate or someone, or like I said, a family unit here that we built something on here and it became a part of our who we are and our identity, and we really resonate with our ancestry and our where we laid our roots and our foundation, and then so then that becomes our ego. Because without that, we don't know who we are. We're not independent from that. We're interwoven. Yeah, interwoven, thinking that that's us. And so we feel very stuck. When the truth of the matter is, like, dealing with this challenge is like, no, you are independent. You have your own lifeblood. You know, you are your own sort of source of blood here, that nothing else is going to give this to you. It comes from the inside. And so I feel like your opportunity here is to deal with this Tower situation so that you can embrace something here that emotionally gets you to recognize that you're an individual apart from this, and where you have been identifying with this thing that you feel you need to depend on, or yeah, is creating your sense of identity, which is not really your true authentic self here with the throat chakra. So let's take a look at the Lenormand cards. We have the Ring, which talks about commitment and contracts. Okay, commitment doesn't necessarily have to mean a marriage commitment or a wedding commitment. It could certainly mean the things we commit to, you know. It could be anything that we're committing ourselves to. And like I said, I do feel it is something that's well established, and that we are depending on our own sort of identity, or saying that this is part of who we are. And you might be saying, well, that is part of who I am. And the truth is, no, because you were existing before this thing, and you'll exist after this thing, and nothing really lasts forever. I mean, yes, soul energies could certainly be tied, but this story outgrows itself, and now it's time to face what's new here in order for your soul to grow. So what do you want to commit to, Libra? What do you want to commit yourself to that's going to have growth here and bring you emotional fulfillment, that's not going to be disconnected from who you authentically are right now? And maybe it's not who you used to be in the past, but as you shift and change, just like the seasons change here, it's now autumn time. We're now needing to deal with the change of who you are. So we have the Heart, yes, and then the Lady. So This could certainly be a relationship, guys. Like, you know, and not all my readings here have been a relationship, but I do feel like, I don't know, like, you know, the heart talks about a relationship and who we give love to. And this lady is the lady in our life. And because it's in this position here, I feel like it's a lady that we're giving love to, or that we're committing to, and or like, this can just stand for the divine feminine energy. It's like, am I allowing myself to commit to emotionally what is bringing me this sort of divine feminine energy, which is true compassion, true abundance. You know, this takes us being very open, unconditional love. And I know it's not how we read Lenormand, because it could be literally a lady, but I'm feeling here like we see the Lovers here and the Lion, which is this strength card. And it's like saying, if we need to choose, again, the choice coming through very strong, and what you don't see coming. And in reverse, it's like the universe knows we have to choose now because time's up. Okay, so we need to face our courage or strength in making a decision here, and be honest with what we want to commit to. And this divine feminine energy knows her self-worth, and she knows her value, and she knows where there's abundance. Okay, I say she, doesn't necessarily have to be a female so much as the energy is receptive feminine energy here. Okay, knowing self-worth, knowing boundaries, knowing what to go after, knowing when to say no, and when to say I'm open to receiving what the universe kind of wants to give to me, without blindly just committing to something, saying, yeah, because I've always done it this way, or because in a practical way this brings my structure, you know. So are we committing to the right lady? Are we open to our divine feminine energy of how we're sharing love? Are we making an offer here of commitment to the right thing? I feel like we're giving it towards something else potentially, when our heart is calling to something else. Okay, so let's take a look at the advice from Spirit. We have the Empress. Yes, see, this is totally what I was feeling from this, is like divine feminine energy here. Abundance, unconditional love, knowing our self-worth, our value. Okay, Empress knows when she needs to lay a boundary, and she knows not to chase, but also knows she's not going to put up with things here that don't emotionally fulfill her and aren't abundant, and just saying, well, it brings me practical happiness, but what about emotional happiness? Page of Wands in reverse. Wow, look at that Page of Wands in reverse. I love that card. And the Six of Swords. So what do we see here? Well, first of all, let me get the signs before I forget. We have Leo, like I said, strong. And then, yeah, Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces, Aries, Leo, Sag, Taurus energy. Okay, yeah. So what is this? Well, I see a lot of wands, which is passion, okay? So I feel like there's no shortage of passion here, but the Empress isn't really pulled and swept away by passion so much, because she is a very balanced, like she has all the queen suits, okay? So she's emotional, she knows how to give love and receive love, but she also is the Queen of Swords, which is logical. She has intelligence and wisdom based on her experience. She's also very passionate and knows her self-worth. And she's also someone here who is quite practical and grounded and doesn't make rash decisions, okay? So she has all of the suits here. So it's like an opportunity here to engage potentially in something that passionately pulls to her. And like I said, which side do you fall on, Libra? Like, are you passionately feeling like there's something you want to pursue and you keep shutting it down here and not following this because you're not quite sitting with your self-worth and understanding that this is going to bring you a balanced sort of everything, rather than just pentacles, or rather than just feeling a passion? You can get complete fulfillment here and unconditional love in a very balanced, grounded sort of way that's going to pull you out of conflict. Okay, Six of Swords, moving out of Five of Swords, like conflict. And the conflict could be really any sort of conflict where we understand where we could be sabotaging, or where we're losing out on something, either by choice or just mentally telling ourselves that we can't chase something up here. So I feel like Spirit is really showing, like, understand you're worthy of having everything. don't settle. And if you know that you're held back here from chasing up something that would totally excite you and feed you to your soul's depth here in some way, this will pull you out of strife, although it might feel very difficult at first. But if you block it, then you'll never know like what you can experience here for yourself, and you'll stay in some Five of Swords situation, you know. So there's a need to really sit with your self-worth and ask yourself here, like, are you allowing yourself to commit to and give your love and unconditional attention and emotion and expression to what truly matters to you? That's sort of going to be your lifeblood here. Or are we egoically trying to keep up some sort of identity mask of who we used to be or tell ourselves that we need to be, which keeps us kind of stuck? Okay, so I do want to pull a card here for this Tower to see if we see what this Tower is about. Spirit, what is this Tower energy about in the opportunity for Libra? What is this Tower energy? I feel like it's just something that requires you to really look at having to make this decision here that maybe you weren't prepared to do, which is the decision of dropping the mask, or being honest with yourself about how you want to move and what you want to commit to. Magician. So yeah, it's like, because this is collective reading, I mean, what happens is a situation, okay, for all of you guys different, but it's like it happens suddenly in a way that now we have to be the magician. It's like we have to utilize what we have in our life here, and we're capable with all the tools we have, because the magician has all the things needed in order to make the magic happen for themselves, like manifest for themselves what they want. It's all about bringing in towards them to create the thing that they want for themselves, not for someone else, not pretending, not keeping something alive, but actually manifesting something for themselves that is going to be what they want. Okay, so I feel like there is something you want. There's something you want to bring towards you, and we have to acknowledge it to ourselves. And I feel like this Tower makes you acknowledge it. And Spirit is saying, like, you have everything here capable of manifesting this. So you might feel like, I don't know, I'm going to pull a rabbit out of my hat. It's like magic here, but I feel like it's not really magic. It's working with the universe to create this thing that you're totally capable of doing here. So I do want to pull one actually here for this Neptune energy, because I do feel like mixed energy. Some of you guys, I don't know if you have like I said, some vision of something unrealistic in some way, but I feel like maybe there's something here you're telling yourself is unrealistic, but it's not really. The Chariot, I was feeling Chariot energy in reverse. So yeah, universe is saying this, okay? This is where the universe is intervening in our life with the major arcana to make us have success, to pull us through a journey here where we can get through it and come out the other side successful and have victory, okay? Like, it's movement, it's going through, but we have to be balanced. We can't be too held back. We can't be too controlling. All we have to do is kind of guide the chariot so it doesn't tumble, okay? Like, if we're too reckless, then the chariot topples. If we're too held back, then it doesn't move and we don't have success. So it's like, allow the universe to sort of work with you and allow your emotions to tell you what's authentic to you, but also use all your understanding of wisdom to tell you, like, am I just kind of holding back because I'm dependent on something in a practical way here, or am I getting everything that I need in my lifeblood? Am I in ego in some way? And if I'm in ego, is that what's holding me back? Because we need to recognize our shadow when we see the Chariot so that we can integrate that into the successful parts of us. Because when we're too much in shadow, we're imbalanced, which means we're not even seeing the ego. We're not even seeing the mask we're wearing. We're too much acting out of subconscious, which isn't our authentic self. But when we say, hey, I don't think this is lined up with who I truly am, because it's not what I truly want. What is it that I want? Then we're being honest and we're not held back, and we're moving and working with the universe to get through this, because I feel like you're going to get through this successfully. You just have to allow the universe to guide you. We have to be honest and truthful with, no matter how pie in the sky or fantasy like it seems, it's like, communicate what you want and then put it into action here with the Magician here, because something's manifesting. And if we sleep on it and don't take action right away because we want to upkeep some sort of story to self, we might miss out on everything, you know? So that's kind of what I'm seeing here for you guys. I hope this resonated, and go check out your other signs if you want to. I love you guys very much, and I will see you soon. Bye. Hello, my beautiful Sagittarius. Cannot wait to get into your new moon zodiac reading. So I do all my zodiac readings for the new moon rather than the calendar month. This way it lines up with the lunar cycle and not the calendar month. So just energetically, it makes a lot of sense, lining it up with the new moon. So I am recording for the new moon in Pisces, although all my readings are timeless. So just take the next new moon kind of as the timeline for you. Of course, energy doesn't sit linear, so I don't know where you're sitting in the timeline, but you're either around, you know, is this something that's happening or has happened or it's about to happen energetically with this lunar cycle for you. So I'm doing the sign of Sagittarius, and this is for Sagittarius Sun, Moon, Rising, or just any heavy Sagittarius placements you might have, or someone you're wanting to take a look at that might have Sagittarius placements. You're all welcome here. Okay, so we're looking at Sagittarius overall, what you don't see coming, opportunity, challenge, and then of course advice from Spirit. So Spirit, clear and concise message here for the beautiful sign of Sagittarius. What is the overall energy for Sagittarius? Clear and concise message for the greatest and highest good of Sag. Please protect me and the viewer as I channel this message. Thank you so much, Sagittarius viewer, for allowing me to tap into your energy, the energy around you at this time. I am truly blessed. Thank you so much. Now, because I read energy, sometimes the energy is not yours, but it's around you. So if you need to crisscross energy, please do that. Okay, don't make anything fit. Although if I say it's your energy and it's someone around you, then yes, crisscross it. Okay, because I don't know whose energy is what. I'm just reading the cards. So opportunity for Sagittarius. And let's look at the challenge for Sagittarius for the lunar month ahead. And one more for the challenge. Perfect. Thank you, Spirits. Let's pull advice as well, actually. So advice, guidance for Sagittarius. Guidance for Sagittarius. Spirits, guidance, advice. Perfect. And I'll be pulling Lenormand cards. I'll pull 3 just to give it more depth to this reading. 1, 2, and Spirit, can we get... Perfect. Thank you so much. Okay, and finally, 1 oracle card. The energy that Sagittarius is needing to encompass, that Spirit wants you to encompass for this lunar month. What is the energy that Sag... There's your card right there. Okay, so what energy are you needing to encompass more of for this month? Spirits is saying a lightning. Wow. Okay, so here's card 13. 13 is the death card in the tarot, which is interesting that it comes up twice with the death here. So Scorpio energy coming through quite strong. Could be you have strong Scorpio placements or just the energy that's around you. Okay, so lightning is Tower, though, because Tower, you know, is always that strike of sort of lightning that happens. So interesting here. I feel as though there's things that might be happening that are out of your control with the lightning, okay? Because we never know where lightning is going to strike or where we're going to have a stroke of genius or something just happens in which it changes the name of the game or the energy. But I feel like what Spirit is showing is healing is taking place. So we are in control of healing, and we're also encouraged to use what we know as sort of fuel for wisdom towards lessons. Okay, so what that means is like the snake here is all about wisdom and how do we use what we've learned in order to make right decisions based on what we know now. And so I feel like things are changing in some way here with this egg about to hatch. It's about rebirth. Okay, the death is all about transformation, which the snake as well is transformation, shedding the skin. the old in order to make way for new. So I feel like there's some new energy coming in, like being reborn, transformation of sorts. And so we might have been incubating for some time. We might have learned some lessons. We might have had to leave things behind. But I feel like Spirit wants you to implement, maybe identifying what you need to leave behind, what doesn't work, what isn't aligned with what you intellectually know now based on your experience. Because I feel like maybe we're having a hard time releasing certain things. I need a sip of my tea. Sagittarius. So when I do the tarot, generally cards that reveal themselves are things that are in our awareness, and then cards that are kind of flipped upside down are things that are in our subconscious and maybe we're not aware of. We don't see it quite yet. So I feel like there's an understanding or a knowing, again, depending where you are energetically, of having to allow certain things to fall away with the death. Okay, this is releasing the old, clearing the playing field in order to make way for the new stuff. And because it's not just the 10 of Swords where it's like an ending, it's a major arcana card. It's like spiritual transformation, like making major changes where things can no longer be the way they are in order for things to really shift. And I feel like there's a massive transformation like in your life going on here. And it could be, like I said, this spiritual shift or something really needing to change in a very profound way, and maybe all areas of your life, in order for there to be a rebirth based on an experience you learned. And maybe we're having a hard time letting go or getting through this transformation. So let's take a look at overall energy. We have the Death, the Queen of Cups, and the Eight of Swords in reverse. So Queen of Cups energy is Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces. This is the most love I can possibly pull from the tarot, aside from the Empress, which is the queen that is the most compassionate. Hard for me to pick up these cards. So the most compassionate, she is loving, she is expressive with her emotions, and she doesn't stop giving. It's an unconditional love here, okay? She's also very intuitive, very compassionate, and I feel like this, beside this Eight of Swords, is maybe a heart at odds with intellectually what we know, because I was getting a lot of wisdom coming through here. Eight of Swords is where we are in some sort of mental limitation because we've told ourselves, or someone else has told ourselves, or a situation has resulted in us believing about ourselves that we're incapable or restricted or limited in some way of creating something or pushing past something or expanding past something or doing something. Like, hence, I have to let go of something in order for me to now, you know, be open to the new. And so we might tell ourselves we're incapable of releasing something that needs to go, or we're incapable of new, so might as well hang on to the past, or it'll be too much of this or that, or some sort of understanding that keeps us sort of blindfolded to a truth and keeps us married to something that isn't quite working anymore, or needs to be discarded, or needs to change and transform with us. But I feel like this was in reverse. It's like us either, I feel like it's a heart versus head thing, but I feel like, I still feel, because sometimes this could be like a very severe case of like really not wanting to see something, or it could mean us getting out of this sort of limiting thought and freeing ourselves from a restriction or a belief of sorts. But it could be sometimes we're pulled out of situations and we still didn't address the limitation, but we're just no longer needing to deal with it anymore because the universe has put us in some other sort of thing. So I'm getting kind of mixed energy, which I might pull a clarifier once we flip all the cards, because sometimes the story becomes very clear as I flip the cards here. So I'm not quite sure which is falling in here, because sometimes we can have multiple people falling on different sides. And sometimes we don't know what side we're falling on here, because when we have a limitation, we don't know our own sort of, you know, what is an actual limitation and what we're telling ourselves is. So you might think, no, like I have to maintain this. This is the way it is, or this is what I was told it would have to be. And Spirit's saying like, no, like this is just some sort of belief system you have that doesn't need to hold you back, you know, that you could free yourself from this. So I don't know, like, I feel like the mind and the heart are sort of at odds here, because I feel like the heart maybe understands that there's something that would be hurting us, like emotionally, if we had to say goodbye to it, or if it transformed and changed. And so we might want to keep it alive in some way here, or tell ourselves that, yeah, like it needs to be like this for whatever reason. And now we're sabotaging some sort of growth or prolonging, because I think we know better, and we might not be wanting to, I don't know, like acknowledge it in some way or deal with something we have to deal with. So let's take a look. Maybe this will become more clear. And like I said, if not, we will pull some clarifiers. So what you don't see coming, we have the Wheel in reverse. That is the first time I've seen this card, and I'm almost done all the signs here. Interesting. The Strength in reverse and the Knight of Swords. Okay, so the Wheel of Fortune and the Strength card in reverse. Knight of Swords. So Leo energy. To me, this is really something halting or being held back or stopped. Okay, and the wheel is sometimes representing like the force of the universe, like things turning kind of on its own in an organic way here. And I feel like obviously things that are organic don't struggle to grow. They just keep moving and growing and progressing. But when we start getting in our own way of what we need to release, we stunt the universe from bestowing upon us the growth. And this is a card like Strength in reverse is a card of really being kind of held back, because we're too fearful of maybe if we move forward or if we let go of something, what would happen here. So there's a need to know when to move forward, when to be held back, how to sort of control and navigate through something, because this is feeling like we're too wanting control and not in control, or wanting to gain control. And then this is like feeling out of control because the universe is controlling something in some way. So we're kind of afraid that we'd lose control or that we can't control something. So that sounds very Eight of Swords to us. It's like, why do we feel we need, or we understand that we need some sort of control here? So Knight of Swords, this is like very quick moving energy. And this is like confronting situations that we need to confront head on with truth, no matter how painful, and really stepping forward. So I feel like maybe there's something here we're needing to really confront. Okay, and it could just be your own, because the swords again is all about the mind, and I was getting like the wisdom. So it's like, do we have the knowledge here and the understanding, the experience here to know better to confront something? But we're held back in this energy because it would require us to face something we might be fearful of facing, you know, and the universe is like, well, we can't move forward. We can't progress. We can't give you anything new here. So everything's kind of stunted or halted until you confront kind of what you're needing to here in order for things to flow again, for things to move. So maybe things are kind of panning out in kind of a negative way for you, or just really stuck. And we're not sure why things are stuck, but then things seem really stagnant. And it's like, well, we need to let go of what no longer works or what's dead in order for there to be a rebirth. And so if we have to confront certain things about us or other people or situations and be honest, then this is kind of the action we need to take, no matter how much we got to step outside of our fear in some way. And sometimes it could even be the ego card here. So we're looking at, you know, how much story is kind of based in ego and how much is based on reality here. Is there a lot of fear stemming from stories that I've told myself? So let's take a look at the opportunity here for you guys, Sagittarius. So we have the Four of Wands in reverse, Ten of Cups in reverse, and we have the Magician. Okay, interesting for this to be in the opportunity, because Four of Wands in reverse, it's like not having the structure. And this is like the foundation that couldn't get built or couldn't come together. And this is also, to me, it's like the community of people that get together, and it's like it doesn't happen, or like the wedding's called off, or like things couldn't become stabilized in some way. And with that went like the fantasy idea of the happily ever after, like the 10 of Cups. This is like your full emotional fulfillment. This is like your long-term family sort of emotional fulfillment that you can possibly envision for yourself and someone else, having this long-term sort of bliss. So this is giving me family energy, stability and structure. And this is, the Magician is all about manifesting what we want with the tools we have in order to create in a practical way something practical, tangible in front of us in this 3D world that is structured, that is stable, that we can see, you know, not just feel, not just kind of imagine, but can actually manifest. So I feel like you have the capability here to manifest something. The opportunity shows that you have the tools. And this is something I feel like is going to impact every area of your life, because the Magician has all the different suits. Like emotionally, it's going to fulfill you. I think it's going to create stability and in a practical way in your life here. And I think there's a lot of understanding you might have around what's going to form this. But I feel like there's a disconnect here from maybe understanding what needs to go, or what's not serving you, or what's not aligned with that vision of the manifestation. Because maybe at one point we had a vision of something that was idealistic, or that something had to come together. Because this to me is like soul family. This is like coming together, union in some way. And I feel like this is like the opposite of that. It's falling apart in some way. And maybe something needs to be, the idea or the story needs to fall apart in order for there to be a manifestation of something that we can actually build as an opportunity for ourselves. And this is all about self manifestation, you know, something for yourself, and working with the universe to allow the universe to let you manifest, but not hanging on to things that aren't aligned with it, and having the universe to, I don't know, like jimmy or concoct some sort of plan in order to force something to work with old materials or old people or situations or things that no longer work because they've already served their purpose. So this is kind of 8 of Swords. Like, I don't know if you want to let go of a vision you've had of ideal fantasy future, or what you thought would be like your soul family, or maybe you had stability and thought it would be a 10 of Cups here, and it might have been at one point, and it's just now something that's transitioned, and now there's a need to manifest something different or transition with this. Doesn't necessarily mean maybe cut it out completely, but the universe is wanting things to transition, to transform, to change, and maybe we're really stuck and held back to the old vision or the old story, or what we wanted something to still be, or rather than come in ready to face what we need to face in order for there to be a birth here of something exciting and new. So let's take a look at the challenge. We have the 8 of Cups in reverse, the 4 of Cups, and the 9 of Cups. So because this is opportunity, like I think the opportunity here is Spirit definitely saying you have an opportunity to manifest what you want. You have everything to create this, and it will make change in all your world in a way that you want, okay? But the only way you can do this is by you manifesting this, and it requires you releasing things that don't serve you. And maybe you're thinking, I don't want my whole world to be turned upside down in some way, because your challenge is walking away from something here and acknowledging it's not emotionally fulfilling. Like both of these are saying something is not emotionally fulfilling, and the universe wants to hand you a cup that is fulfilling, and you're still kind of working with the old sandbox, unable to leave the past behind and say, you know what, I got to go in search of my 9th cup because I'm not happy in an 8 of Cups. And what once fulfilled me and I was emotionally invested no longer brings me that emotional fulfillment. So we might be sitting here and sort of seeing all the things that haven't worked, and not really allowing ourselves to enjoy the cup the universe is giving to us. So we're really focused on what wasn't working, what didn't work, and what we have to discard. Meanwhile, there's a 9 of Cups sitting right beside you here, which is full emotional fulfillment for self. Okay, and maybe we wanted a 10 of Cups with someone else, and Spirit is saying, like, your challenge is to make yourself emotionally happy here in order for a 10 of Cups to come in, because we can't force a 10 of Cups with someone, okay? The only thing we can work on and allow ourselves to get is a 9 of Cups, which means, again, working with the universe, being honest and not being in a limiting thought that doesn't allow us to walk away from things that aren't emotionally pleasing, saying, I got to sit here, I got to suffer, I got to keep staying here for whatever reason because I'm already invested. Meanwhile, Spirit's saying, no, you can have a 9 of Cups. And once you have a 9, you're going to find your 10. But if you stay here in the 8, like, you're just kind of suffering and hanging on to something that needs to transition and evolve. And something's evolving here. Okay, like something wants to come in here and the universe wants to give you this. But it's halted right now. Like, the wheel's not spinning in your favor. It's not allowing the universe to be bestowing on you these blessings and this change. So I don't know why you were really hung up on not having this happen. I'm going to have to pull a clarifier for this 8 of Swords. Let's take a look at the Lenormand cards to give us some depth here. Mountain, obstacle, an obstruction that seems like we cannot move it. A very stubborn energy here. And then we have the closed book, which is knowledge, wisdom again. Okay, closed book, not seeing something. So it could be hidden information. High Priestess, but I feel like it's like we have the knowledge, but I don't think we're using the wisdom because the book is closed. And so I think we're seeing something as a big obstacle here that's unmovable. And it's like, I can't get through this. I can't get through this, or this is a big obstacle here. And I feel like we're just not seeing it in the right way. You know, like there's something here that we're still not seeing. There's still something that haven't been learned through our experience to give us the wisdom to actually see the mountain for it, what it might be, which is not a mountain, but it's still information we're still needing to come into some sort of awareness of. Here's the ring. So this is commitment. This is a contract with the ring and the Lenormand. So it's like, yeah, like we could be like, commitment again doesn't necessarily have to be like a marriage commitment or a proposal of sorts, but what are we committing ourselves to and dedicating ourselves to? We have 2 birds here, so I'm seeing partnership. Okay, birds could represent communication here, and it's like this closed book. So it's like, are we having an open communication about truth and seeing the lessons and understanding the wisdom in these lessons so that we can see the mountain maybe for what it is? And maybe we don't want to see the mountain, so we're turning kind of a blind eye to it because I'm feeling High Priestess from this closed book. And it's like, is there really a mountain here? You know, question this. And are we committing ourselves to something that we're blindly not seeing? And there's really a mountain here, and it's like we need to go to a different path because there's an obstruction. Or are we so stubborn that we're like, no, that's a mountain, it's getting in my way. And so we're not really seeing the truth of the situation here. Like, is it surmountable? Could we go through this? I think you need to question this, okay? Because I think the answer is still needing to be revealed. And this will allow you to then be honest with communicating either to self or in a situation here, or maybe involving another, what you want to invest in or how you want to commit yourself to, what you want to give to. Yeah, and I'm seeing so much from this card. Like, I see this, like, I don't know if that's a cello, but it's like a musical instrument here. So that could be significant in a way. But it's like, in order for you to be singing in the right symphony, okay, we have to be at the right sort of choir, I guess, or we have to, yeah, like we can't join the wrong sort of symphony or choir with the wrong instrument. And so I feel like there's a need for you to understand that you have a blessing here, that you can play in harmony. But if we're too distracted committing ourselves to something here that we're thinking we're seeing, but it's really not the truth of what we're seeing, then we're missing out on the joy. And I feel like we've been missing out on something here that's a blessing. I think it's a blessing to you. And I think you'd think it's a blessing too. And you'd find emotional fulfillment. But we're too focused with the Four of Cups here, you know, and not walking away or not acknowledging something here. So we might have to still pull tarot here because I'm not sure I'm seeing what this is. Let's look at the advice from Spirit first, and then we will see what we don't know. Star in reverse, Aquarius energy. Two of Swords in reverse, and the Hermit, Virgo energy. So the Star in reverse, it's like we had a vision of something in the future, of a hope, a distant desire, something we wish to attain, and it might have not have happened, or it's getting blocked from happening. So Spirit is saying, one, like we need to experience what we're experiencing in order to heal things that need to be healed. But in order to attain wish and desires, we have to make decisions that are aligned with our authentic truth and pick a path here rather than maybe sit not doing anything or not choosing something, or not choosing is the choice. And so we're choosing to stay in maybe the old, or we're choosing to stay in things that aren't moving or stuck or old, that we outgrown. And so we sit here and idle, and then it becomes like an impasse. And then the universe like is saying like, none of this is going to be fulfilling at a certain point in time. It's going to just appear like one big obstacle here that you can't see through. Can't see through the truth of this obstacle or this thing, because we haven't allowed ourselves to be honest and experience with what choice we're having to make here, because we're really needing to sit with ourselves and really look at ourselves with this Hermit. This is about doing the inner work, like the Hermit's journey. No matter how painful and lonely, it's like we still have to be very open with ourselves and honest with what are our thoughts, and are they limiting to us, and what do we really want, and what are we, you know, offering and committing to. Like this bird is giving this commitment, and this Hermit is giving this all-seeing eye kind of to something here. So it's like, are we giving away our energy and our only sort of power that could open up the door to something that is stuck and blocked now, hoping and wishing? But meanwhile, we could enjoy the symphony here if we just did the reflective inner work here to see where we could decide and choose to do things differently here, because something's really stuck. And I think it's removing some sort of wish you have for yourself, you know, like I think you might see your wish in something now that is no longer a wish, or it used to be, but it no longer is, or we can't accept the fact that it isn't what we thought it was, or at one point it had the potential to be, and then it became that it wasn't, you know, and so, or maybe we are telling ourselves that the potential where a wish is only blocked anyway, because we can't see our path there. So we just keep committing to the same old that's tired out already. But it's really our ego kind of getting in the way, not wanting us to face the fear of saying we have to let go of something here that no longer serves, shed the old in order to transform, because whatever self-speak is keeping us really, really stuck here, and it's not allowing us to have our wish. Okay, so this is healing, and when we do Hermit work, this is the inner work of healing as well. So I feel like we're needing to really heal here, and that all starts with making a decision and not just kind of allowing the universe to keep rolling in some way, but we're still stuck and we're not moving with it. That's a block there. So let me pull some tarot just around this Eight of Swords. Can we get clarity around this Eight of Swords in reverse for beautiful Sagittarius? What is this Eight of Swords in reverse for Sagittarius about? Six of Cups in reverse. Yeah, so this is a person, place, thing of the past, our hometown, or our roots, or ancestors, like something that brings us back, like family, friends of the past, like childhood. It's something that we were really attached to in our childhood or in our past that we're really hung up with, and we probably are identifying this as part of who we are. And so we tell ourselves stories about why we can't move on, or this is the only thing for us, or this is who I am, or it's keeping stuck. It's like, I'm getting kind of like almost Peter Pan syndrome in a way, in a little bit, okay? Because it's like not wanting to grow up or not wanting to move past the situation that's you've outgrown in order to expand and grow. And so we keep limiting ourselves by this. But I feel like it's so much more than that, because I feel like subconsciously we might not understand that our ego might be getting in the way, and we might be thinking that we are somebody who would confront and who would stand in some sort of valor, and that we're doing something out of the goodness of our heart. But in truth, it's like that's all stuff we might tell ourselves and see, but underneath in the subconscious, maybe there is fear in really letting go of what's not emotionally fulfilling, because the challenge is something doesn't emotionally fulfill you anymore. And so you could be emotionally hung up with what it used to be and what it used to bring to you, but the reality is it's not bringing you this Nine of Cups. And we keep kind of sitting here, you know, focusing on what that is rather than cracking this egg of what's new. So I feel Spirit wants you to do this inner work here. I am going to pull one just here to see if we can get clarity. Like, I don't know what you resonated with, if this is a surmountable sort of mountain, or if you're making it seem surmountable in some way, or like you're just being stubborn in some energy, or fixated, I should say, and unmoving or unwavering, and you're identifying as this thing is stuck or fixed, or you can't see it. Queen of Pentacles in reverse. Yeah, it's like this is where we're really dependent on structures that maybe in the past we've relied on to give us practical stability, maybe financially, maybe it was our home, maybe it was whatever, a family situation or a setup, a structure, a stability. Okay, because this is in the opportunity here. So it's like, in the opportunity, it's like whatever was a structure or whatever we depended on, maybe it just fell apart or no longer could be our structure anymore. It's no longer going to provide us a 10 of Cups here, you know, because as the wheel turns, as we grow, as we evolve as humans, we have to move out from our hometowns and our old friend groups and, you know, our parents' basement and all of this type of stuff in order for us to find our own independence and be successful and grow. And this will bring you complete emotional fulfillment, but we don't know. So we stay kind of fearful of, what if I can't find the stability and I'll lose my what I'm dependent on? And I remember how things used to be here, but it's like we're constantly having that speak. And so as time ticks by, it's like you could take that step and be emotionally fulfilled and allow the shedding of the skin to fall and the transformation. But we're seeing this mountain as it's my, you know, I'm dependent on it. It's my stability. It's my fixed thing that I absolutely need. And at one time, like, it was everything here, and I still see it in this way, but it's like we're not seeing the real truth of something here because the book is closed. And the truth is that you evolve and move like the universe wants you to, you know, and that requires transformation. And so this situation can evolve with you at the same time and be healthy, because people change their roles in our life and we grow and we become happy and find a way to be happy. So I feel like eventually there's going to be more suffering here because we're not acknowledging that we're not emotionally getting what we need or want, and the power's in your hands to manifest this happiness. You have to allow the egg to crack here, which is the new you, and get your desire, your wish. All your wishes could come true here, okay? So Spirit is showing this. It requires lots of healing and reflection here, and having to make right decisions that are based in truths, okay? Not in limitations or stories we might have been told or believed to be true as a limitation because we think it's very fixed. It's not. All right, so this is what I have for you guys, Sagittarius. I hope this helped. I love you so much. I will see you soon. Bye. Hello, my most beautiful Pisces. Cannot wait to get into your new moon Zodiac reading. So I record all the Zodiac lunar monthly sort of energy with the lunar cycle rather than the calendar month, because energetically it just makes a lot more sense. So we're looking at the sign of Pisces for this lunar month with the new moon in Pisces. So this is a timeless reading, okay? So it doesn't have to necessarily be with this new moon, but whatever next new moon you're kind of faced with, if you resonate with this message, then the message was meant for you. Okay, now this could be Pisces, sun, moon, rising, any sort of Pisces heavy placements you might have in your chart, or just looking for your favorite Pisces person and wanting to tap into the energy. So we're looking at overall energy for Pisces, what you don't see coming, opportunity and challenge for the lunar month ahead, and of course advice from spirit. You can certainly crisscross energies, okay, because I just read energy here. So if I'm reading an energy and it isn't yours, sounds like someone around you, then just crisscross that energy to fit that person, but don't make anything fit that doesn't sound like it resonates, because if it doesn't resonate, that could certainly be a message for someone else, or maybe just not your frequency that I'm tapped into, which is absolutely a-okay. All right, so overall, what you don't see coming, spirit, clear and concise message for Pisces. What do they not see coming? Please protect me and the viewer as I channel this message for the greatest and highest good of Pisces. Thank you so much, spirit, and thank you so much, Pisces, for allowing me to tap into your energy, the energy around you at this time. I am so blessed. Thank you so, so much. I'm so grateful for you guys being here today. Let's take a look at your opportunity, and let's take a look at the challenge for Pisces. Challenge for Pisces. The Hangman in reverse and the Hermit in reverse revealing itself. And we have this card right here. And now for advice, we have the top 3, advice from spirit. Let us pull the Lenormand here to give some depth to this reading. We'll pull 3 cards for the Lenormand for the lunar month for Pisces spirits. And 1 more. Okay, 2 more. Thank you so much. And last card, let's pull an oracle card. What is Pisces? What is the energy Pisces needing to encompass for the lunar month ahead? All right, so spirit wants you to encompass the energy of sugar. Card 31. So what is the sugar about? Well, just like any card in tarot or anything in life, there's positive and negative, or dark and light. So with sugar, there is one extreme, which is sugar can be bad for you. Too much sugar is bad, and sometimes it's good to enjoy ourselves, because what's life if we're constantly saying no to things that we might enjoy? I mean, you might not like sugar so much, but it's representing balance and things that bring us pleasure and reaches our senses in some way. So there's something about your senses coming through, like your 5 senses, which is interesting. So we'll see what comes totally with that. But that's like your touch, your sight, your taste, your hearing. You could certainly be psychic. There was another pile I read here that was with that energy. So your clairs, like clairaudient, clairvoyant, clairsentient, you might have a lot of that coming through from your senses, if that's something you're resonating with. But what I'm really getting here is the spirit's talking about finding balance between overdoing something and then allowing yourself to enjoy as well, but not overly do it where we're just, like pushing ourselves towards a tipping point in some way. So balance coming through with this sugar. That's all I'm kind of getting right now. Let's reveal the cards, and sometimes messages come through and it sort of makes sense near the end what the full story is. So I'll pull cards to clarify as near the end if we still have questions. Okay, so let's take a look at your overall energy here for Pisces. We have 6 of Pentacles in reverse, balance card. Yeah, that was coming through very strong. 9 of Cups in reverse, and the Chariot in reverse, another balance card. So coming through was that need to find a middle ground and a balance. So either we're giving too much or investing too much, or on one side of the scale too much. And so we're not emotionally satisfied with the situation here that might seem very stuck, or it might be a little reckless. So I don't know what side you're falling on, and we're going to see, okay, because there's lots of people I'm reading for here, but it's going to fall in either camp here. And it's like, it's lopsided energy. Like the Chariot has to remain upright in order to be successful. So we have to integrate, again, the shadows coming through, because there's always light and shadow, which is like things that don't work. We might have to accept at some point in time that if there's slip-ups or if there's shadows within self, that they have to exist in order for there to be light. But it's how do we find balance within this to make it through successful? But if we just throw our hands up in the air and say, well, I was on a diet and I had a cookie, and so now I'm going to eat the whole bag and keep eating it, and now we're completely like in the other thing, right? So it's like, okay, I ate a cookie, but you know, I'm going to go to the gym for an extra 20 minutes tomorrow and kind of make up for it. And then we kind of allow the Chariots to pull us through, and we find success by integrating certain parts that might seem shadowy, but it's like, how do I find balance in whatever the situation is? That was just an example, okay, because we have sugar in the cookies. But I feel like whatever's happening here, I feel like emotionally you're not fulfilled because there is imbalance. And I don't know if it's something that just makes you feel like it's out of control, and it might be too much of it, or moving too fast of it, or you feel like you can't control it, or you can't invest in it, or yeah, or you feel like you've given a lot, but it didn't move. And so it's like, at what cost now? Because now you're emotionally unfulfilled. And it's like, if things aren't moving, if things are stuck, if things are broken down here, and if it's not working out, it's like, why do I just keep like pouring into this? Like there's a hole in the bucket. So why am I going to continuously sort of use this bucket here? So something with imbalance is really coming through. So we'll see if this kind of gets clear as we go along. Let's look at what you don't see coming. So we have the Six of Cups, talking about balance again, Pisces, and the Queen of Wands in reverse, and Justice, balance again. Wow. Oh my goodness. Okay. So we have Cancer energy. We have Libra energy. We have Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. Balance, balance, balance all over the place. So yeah, heavy Libra type energy coming through. I'm also feeling Virgo energy kind of lightly here as well. But what I feel is like there is this energy of not being appreciated or given to, like, yeah, not feeling appreciated, you know, because the Queen of Wands is like a beautiful, attractive, magnetic, in her full power, confident, beautiful queen here. And I feel like that's your energy, or at least the energy I'm picking up here in your reading, Pisces. But I feel like we're not being recognized or appreciated here, and it's like out of balance in some way. So there's a need to restore some sort of justice and balance in a situation here. And because it's what you don't see coming, it could be justice coming in swiftly in a way that brings balance and justice with the major arcana that you don't see by someone either offering an apology or somebody. This is like a person, place, or thing of the past. It could be like even soul family, or a tie to our ancestors, or a hometown, or friends from childhood, or something here in the past that's sort of returning in some way here, that I feel like it needs to bring some sort of justice. And like I said, could even be an apology card, could be a reconciliation card, or something that brings justice to a situation. I'm feeling again that dark and light. So I don't know, something maybe that ended. Sorry, I know it's getting very dark in here because the sun is setting here, and you guys are kind of close to my last, but hopefully you guys can see. But it's like something maybe happened here that was in the shadow, and it's like, how do we find the light here to find balance? Like, how do we make the most of this, you know? Like, and if this is dealing with like family or friends that speak to us, it's like from the past, it's like we don't want to sever ties, but we need to stand up for ourselves in some way, or still like be appreciated or have our value. So we might feel like like we're underappreciated, or like we're not being shown the respect that we deserve for the investment we've put into something here. I'm feeling family energy coming through with the Six of Cups and Justice. So it could be, like I said, family, could be soul family as well. But yeah. So I don't know if you guys feel like it's you guys that are kind of not being appreciated in some way. But I feel like there's an angry energy here, you know, and it could be resentful sort of energy for not being appreciated or shown some respect. Okay, let's keep going and see what sort of comes clear. So in the opportunity for you guys, Pisces, we have 10 of Pentacles in reverse, family card again in reverse. This could be family troubles. Two of Swords in reverse, and Ace of Pentacles in reverse. So stability, the family structure, the long-term sort of foundation that we've built, it could be like turned upside down. Like, yeah, I feel like the opportunity here is for you to come to some sort of out of a stalemate, out of a place where maybe you were sitting idle. Maybe you were underappreciated or not shown your value in a home situation here, or it wasn't providing stability or structure you needed. And so now it's like your opportunity is to not keep investing. Like if we can't manifest something here of a 10 of Pentacles, then it's like, why do we stay around here? And so it's like, I'm no longer uncertain about it. I'm no longer in denial about it. I'm no longer at a crossroads about it. I'm now knowing I need to make a decision here, and that's the opportunity. It's like too much of investing in something that wasn't being created here for a long term is not the place where you want to keep investing and giving, because emotionally it wasn't providing you with emotional fulfillment. So it is an opportunity, because now we don't have to keep putting our energy and our effort or investment here, if it is financial investment or just practical energy towards something here. So I'm not so sure. This is interesting. I might have to pull quite a bit of clarifiers here, because I wasn't getting this with any other reading. But Two of Swords, like in reverse, it's sometimes like we sit so idle with our head in the sand, we don't make a decision, and then the universe just says, well, no decision is a decision, and then something happens here in which we have to kind of deal with the consequences, is sometimes how I see this Two of Swords, right? Because it's like two opposing things that we don't want either one to, like if we choose one, then it's like we don't want the other thing to sort of happen. And if we choose the other, then that means the other thing will happen. So we don't do anything at all. And then we kind of make more of a mess of it. But we're at a crossroads to make a decision in order to pull through here. Again, that balance energy. So what are we challenged with here? We have the Hangman, the Hermit and in reverse, and the Three of Swords in reverse. Oh my goodness. So Pisces energy, Virgo energy. I was feeling Virgo. And then Three of Swords. So I think the opportunity here, although it's might be something you might think isn't all that great, because you might have not have been wanting to maybe rip a band-aid or make a move. It's like the challenge here is in acknowledging that you don't have to be in limbo. You don't have to be at a crossroads. You don't have to tie yourself to something here that keeps you in limbo. Like you're able to make a decision now, you know, like, but I feel like you're kind of martyring yourself in some way. And it could be that we're really hung up in what we were wanting to, I don't know, our point of view or what we were thinking we wanted in some way. Like Hermit in reverse is like we don't really understand ourselves enough or reflected enough to gain a good understanding of both points of view or the other perspective, or to come up with something that is creative that kind of speaks to us. So sometimes we have to pull away and really do the reflection here in order to get honest about what is truthful to us and what stands to reason and what we really want for self. And I feel like there is a delay or what is this? sitting at a crossroads, not choosing, because we'd have to dealing with a separation, deal with heartbreak. You know, this is someone's words, actions, intentions, our own words, actions, intentions, or lack of words, actions, intentions in some way causes pain, causes suffering. We're parted from the ones we love, separated from the ones we love. And so in the reverse, it's like keeping something going in some way, because once we make a decision, it's like we have to accept some sort of heartbreak. We have to deal with tending to our heart, you know. So I don't know, we might be totally like lopsided in one way and giving to something emotionally not satisfying, but we're just prolonging some sort of need to heal ourselves from something here, you know. And I don't know that you guys fully make a decision, but the opportunity here is that you don't have to invest in something here if it's not structured enough to have a long-term vision of what's going to emotionally fulfill you in a practical way and in an emotional way. Okay, let's read the Lenormand, because it's still a little disjointed, and I don't know, maybe it makes sense to some of you guys, but let's see. So we have the key, all about information. Okay, this is like finding out maybe some new information or a solution, having the answer in order to open new opportunities or doors. So that's like the opposite of this, where it's like, or it's the opposite of this, where it's like we have to see new solutions. We have to be open to getting downloads here from Spirit to see things differently in order to open up new doors, or else we kind of keep committing ourselves to things here that aren't necessarily new answers or solutions that will find a way. So we have the bouquet, which is all about being shown appreciation. Yeah, this is like being appreciated. This is getting a gift. This is somebody, yeah, gifting us something. Could be appreciation or a physical gift here. The Ship, which is all about travel, but it could be about just the journey, the movement. And that's what this is like, are we doing the inner journey within to really understand ourselves? You know, like we have to journey within and do what it takes here. Or we could absolutely have to get up and go someplace here in order to make something happen. And then we have the Child. Okay, so child can literally be a child, or it could represent the inner child. It could represent us being a novice at something and having to learn something, so we're still kind of new, or maybe we're dealing with someone who's a little immature or not grown in some way. So what am I feeling here? Well, the Lenormand's kind of read the way the cards are laid out here. So I don't know if this is your energy, and like I said, you might want to crisscross, okay? And I'm committed to always seeing what I see here. So if this is challenging to hear, then I do apologize. It's like I'm kind of picking up a little bit of an immature energy because of the fact that we were feeling underappreciated. And so I mean, everyone wants to be appreciated, obviously, you know, especially if we've been giving of ourselves, but we are responsible for our own actions, okay, especially for an adult. And just because we come from a good place of giving does not mean at all that someone owes us or needs to appreciate us. Okay, so it's up to us to say, do I want to continue to give or invest here, even though I'm emotionally not happy? Or am I going to be immature about it, or like sulk about something here, you know, and until I get my appreciation, until someone recognizes my value, until this opens the door to this new phase, and now I'm appreciated all of a sudden, because the more I keep giving here, things will sort of move, you know, like things will be moving for me. And it's like, I don't know, like I feel like this person, whatever energy I'm feeling here, has not done the inner child work, but also just the inner work to explore themselves a little bit more in regards to seeing another perspective here and acknowledging like we're acting out of heartbreak, because sometimes our wounds are like revealed when we're engaging with other people, and we don't want to look at our wounds. So this could be one of abandonment. Okay, and why I'm picking this up is because when we're abandoned, either through childhood or we have experiences in past lives or just ancestral issues or things that we came into this world with, or whatever inner child coming through very strong experience leaves us with some trauma or some block in our chakra. And so then what happens is that when we experience it later in life, it like triggers us. So we need to be very present and aware of, is this somebody non-appreciative of me? And if they are non-appreciative of me, do I continue to invest, continue to do the same thing here? Because it'd be too difficult for me to say this person's energy is one that isn't balanced, isn't showing me appreciation, so therefore it has nothing to do with my own self-worth. Because when we have abandonment wounds, we think that when someone else treats us in that way, it's a reflection of our own self-worth, and it's not. So there's a need to do the inner work to look at and say, this person or whoever or whatever situation has not appreciated me and my efforts and my investments. And it was up to me at some point to say, okay, I'm pulling back on my energy because emotionally I'm not fulfilled here, and things are stuck or not moving in a balanced way, and I'm giving too much or experiencing something in the opposite end, in the shadow end here. And no matter how much emotionally invested I am here in this thing, I have to deal with this abandonment wound within me. It has nothing to do with this person. So instead of dealing with this, I'd rather just keep it surface here and keep not learning this lesson. And not that you'd rather, but it's the subconscious that is a defense mechanism that doesn't go deeper. Okay, it doesn't go deeper within self to say, is it this person or is it me that now needs to be called out on the action? Because I could stop investing here, especially if I know it's imbalanced for me, you know? And yeah, I mean, if somebody's taking advantage of you, then certainly, I mean, it's up to them to acknowledge their own sort of karmas and taking advantage of people, but people don't owe us anything, you know, and we don't just start kind of pouring the opposite or in the extreme in order to get an outcome that we want. So I do feel there's an outcome here that you want. I think you want balance, you want justice. But I think what's happening here is you might, and this is with someone of the past here that, okay, I'm getting a lot of downloads here. Sorry, it's a little all over the place. But I feel like whatever you're experiencing here, you're wanting balance, you're wanting justice. You might have been imbalanced in giving of something that left you emotionally unsatisfied. But it's ringing in an inner child trauma, and it's bringing up, and I feel it's an abandonment wound, but it could just be some sort of trauma that triggers within you that's really alerting you to take a look at self and subconscious sort of things here, to see it from a complete new perspective. And this is why it's sort of happening, in order to give you this enlightenment so you can deal with this, or else this will keep surfacing in all your relationships and all your situations. You know, if we keep just deflecting and blaming other people, and I'm not saying you're doing this, but this is kind of the energy I'm picking up here. So it's like the opportunity here is for you to see this and to acknowledge and say, do I just sit here not acknowledging truths that maybe one of these is, it's going to hurt me to deal with this heartbreak, but I have to deal with this? Or am I going to choose, you know, to do what I always do here in this situation, which is maybe be immature, or maybe like, I don't know if it's immature, just put up this energy of not feeling appreciated. So I'm angry, you know, or pretend I'm not angry, or just like build up and then get really angry or whatever, instead of dealing with this and having communication. So I just sit here kind of instead of dealing with it, because I don't want to have to do this work. And maybe it's not wanting, but even recognizing that we have work to do, and that something's being triggered here, you know. And this is why we can't really build the thing here. And it's all on us to recognize this, because we bring the balance and the justice to ourselves. This isn't something someone's going to bring to us. We have to move towards this, but we have to recognize where we're maybe acting a little immature, or maybe we're inexperienced in how to deal with our own emotions or triggers. And that appreciation comes from, like, we can appreciate ourselves, we can gift to ourselves, we can know that we are whole and we are balanced, and we don't need to be poured onto by other people in order to be appreciated and valued. Like, we have value just being independently who we are. You know, we don't need this in order to have substance, in order to feel balance, in order to understand ourselves or open doors for our future. We can open doors for our future by knowing we're abundant. You know, we can move towards what is abundant for us because we know we're whole and complete in some way. So I feel like there's childhood things here we're having to deal with here, okay? And this doesn't mean that this situation here is not going to resolve, but I feel like it's happening here in order for you to deal with something here. And I feel this is why it's maybe stuck, maybe why it's really imbalanced, maybe why it's a little unhealthy. Surprised we are not seeing devils yet, but I feel it is tied to stability, structure, foundations, balance, childhood things. Okay, so let's look at the advice. We have the Lovers in reverse, yep, Queen of Pentacles, and then the Four of Swords in reverse. So Gemini energy. I don't know if I read the signs. Yeah, I did. Okay, Gemini energy here, and then Queen of Pentacles, more Virgo, Taurus, Capricorn, and then the Four of Swords in reverse. So Spirit is saying you are valued as you are, okay? This is like the Queen of Pentacles. She is able to know her value. She is stable. She is grounded. She is capable of standing on her own. She doesn't need to be appreciated in order to know her value, although it is nice to be gifted and appreciated. She knows her value intrinsically, like she knows what she's all about here because she has done the work. Like she knows where she stands, and she knows that her structure is dependent on herself only. It's not dependent on whether other people show up or whether they appreciate her or not. So I feel like Spirit is saying if there's a relationship that's imbalanced, okay, if there's a situation, someone here that's not choosing to show up or bringing balance, like don't choose this person or this path anymore. Don't keep pouring into it hoping things would change. There's a need for you to really sort of reflect with truth here in regards to a Three of Swords. And the only way to really heal this Three of Swords, which is your challenge to heal this trauma, okay, this abandonment wound or this hurt, this ouch, we have to be honest and we have to really call the truth for what it is. And this might take time to sit here and reflect and really sit with that, you know, no matter how painful, because this is how we do the inner work, the hermit work, okay? This is both about reflecting, getting really honest, sitting here and taking a pause and pulling away from a situation where we need space in order to heal. We need to do the work. We need to pull away until we start getting enlightened about seeing things from a different perspective, so we can now understand things from a different point of view, which is maybe I have a responsibility here, and when I was supposed to stop eating the cookies, you know, maybe I didn't have to keep going with the whole bag here, and just because I ate one, like I could have still had some sort of boundary in some way here. So I think we're pushing or projecting the onus on someone else or something else to rectify the balance or bring the balance. So I feel here what you don't see here is like you really restoring this balance by doing the challenging thing here. And that's the only way to really bring things back to balance, get things maybe back on track here, you know, if you're wanting to kind of engage with the same thing. But there's a need for you to know then, like, do you want to engage with down the same path, down the same people? Do they value you, or are you only seeing what's not appreciated here in the situation? Because sometimes we could think someone's not appreciating us because we're seeing something here because we've experienced pain. So any sort of scratch to that scar makes us feel underappreciated in some way. So it triggers us. So I feel like there's a need to really review, like, do you want to stay on this path, like, and give this like an honest sort of look? Is this person being legitimately like honest in some way, or are they taking advantage of me? And is it my own trigger or need to be appreciated and valued that I can find within myself And once I find this, like, can I still make do with this situation or this person, you know? So we're really needing to ask these questions and sit there and heal from this. So this is what I see. I really don't feel I need to clarify, but I feel like since you're here, I might as well pull one just to kind of clarify that I'm not sort of speaking out of turn. I do feel like I want kind of a clarifier here for this, what you don't see coming. Six of Cups, Queen of Wands in reverse, and this Justice, because that seems to be the crux of what's going on here. Page of Cups in reverse. Yeah, it's like this immature energy. Okay, Page of Cups is like, I keep saying immature, and I hope I'm not offending you, but it's like need to mature when it comes to emotions. Like, this is like someone who might be like, well, then I'm not going to open up, or I'm not going to express my emotions, or I'm going to not express how I'm feeling here, or until I'm appreciated, or I'm going to, yeah, like not apologize, you know, like until they apologize first, or until I'm recognized here. So I'm like withholding or being immature about something here. So how does that bring justice to a situation? Well, it really doesn't. So Spirit is saying, like, you are worthy. Like, your advice here is you are this beautiful Queen of Pentacles, okay, who can manage on her own. So you don't need another person or situation here in order to see this. So I'm pulling a clarifier here for this row of challenge. 10 of Cups. So yeah, Spirit is saying, like, with the 10 of Cups, this is sometimes we have, like, in our minds, like, the idolized fantasy about what it's supposed to look like in a emotionally fulfilled relationship between two people, what's supposed to be balanced. Because 10 of Cups is like, you know, I bring in this and you bring in that, and we find balance here, and this is how we emotionally kind of connect. But what Spirit is saying is, like, review this, because you might have some sort of idea of what this looks like, and that's great, but what's your role then in how you're supposed to show up here? Like, are we putting everything sort of on this person to resolve when there's things within us that are unhealed, or we still get triggered? Like, if you get triggered by someone, period, I don't care what they do, if they trigger you, there's unhealed things here, okay? And obviously, I mean, if we, I don't know, if someone shoots us in the foot, or if they're like cheating on us, I mean, we're going to get hurt. But what I mean by triggered, it's like, if we don't come away saying that has everything to do with that person and nothing to do with me as an individual, then we're healed from knowing that our self-worth and our value has nothing to do with how someone else shows up. So Spirit wants you to sort of examine, like, what is your ideal idea of what a future happily ever after looks like with this person or with this situation? Is it one where you're kind of I don't know if scapegoat's the right word, but where you're like envisioning you don't have any skin in the game in order to look at your own ouchies, you know, and I don't know, like, do the work necessary to say, I don't get triggered by another person if I don't feel like I'm not being appreciated here. I just know that that's on them, and if I'm not wanted here, I go someplace else. Or is this person just being this person and has nothing to do with the reflection of me, and I'm being kind of maybe immature, wanting something unrealistic in some way here, okay? So just question that. So this is what I have for you guys, Pisces. Thank you so much for joining me. Go check out your other signs. If this sounded more like energy around you, then maybe your other signs could certainly have energy that's around you, or your own energy. All right, I will see you soon. Bye. Hello, my beautiful Capricorn. Cannot wait to get into your new moon zodiac reading. So I've lined up all my zodiac readings to fall with the lunar month rather than the calendar month, because it just resonates energetically a lot better with the frequency. So we are looking at the sign of Capricorn, and this is for anyone who has heavy Capricorn placements, not just your sun. It could be your sun, your moon, your rising, or you could be just looking in on your favorite Capricorn person. You guys are all welcome here. So I am recording on the new moon of Pisces, okay, but all my readings are timeless. So whenever the next new moon is for you, this is for that sort of lunar month. We are asking Spirit for Capricorn's overall energy, what you don't see coming, opportunity, challenge, and advice from Spirit. All right, so Spirit, clear and concise message here for the greatest and highest good of beautiful Capricorn. Please protect me and the viewer as I channel this message. And thank you so much, Capricorn, for allowing me to tap into your energy, the energy around you at this time. I am truly blessed. Thank you so, so much. And if this sounds more like, I'm seeing this one here, energy around you, could be energetically, there are people around you that pull through here. So if it's not your energy, then crisscross it. If I say it's you and it sounds like someone around you, then just crisscross the energy. Don't make anything fit, okay? You just switch energies because this is a general reading. Not everything might fit, and certainly if it doesn't resonate, then it might not be your reading altogether, okay? So, opportunity here, Spirit, for Capricorn. Opportunity for lovely Capricorn. Opportunity. I'm seeing this one here. And challenge. What is the challenge for this lunar month for Capricorn? One more. I'm seeing this one here. Okay, and advice, guidance, advice from Spirit for Capricorn. Feeling that one and that one. One more. Wow, you guys got 4 cards for advice. Capricorn needs advice. Okay, so I am pulling Lenormand cards here for this lunar month because it helps to add some depth to this reading. So I'll ask Spirit for 3 cards here for the lovely Capricorn. Spirit, can we please get 3 cards here for Capricorn? And one more. Perfect. And final card, we'll get an oracle card in regards to what energy is Capricorn needing to encompass. Spirit, what energy is Capricorn needing to encompass for this lunar month? Perfect. We got 1 card. Okay, so when I do readings, cards that are revealed itself is areas you are probably aware of, conscious of, and anything that's kind of face down is things that maybe are out of your consciousness or not in your awareness or sitting in the subconscious, okay? So let's take a look. And again, energy doesn't sit linear, so you could be anywhere on this timeline, okay? Not all Capricorn sitting exactly in the same spot. So this could be something coming into your existence, past, present, future energy, if you're sitting on whatever this energy frequency is. So if I say you're aware of this, it could be something that comes to your awareness quite soon or is present. So what do we have here for Capricorn? What you're needing to encompass. Okay, interesting, because we have fog. This is card 39, and we're asking about energy you're needing to encompass. So, I mean, fog is not pleasant energy to be in so much, but what I'm really picking up here for you guys, Capricorn, is in the fog, we're really needing to kind of look at what's in front of us. In the fog, we can't be too focused on what's going on like down the road, because we can't see down the road, but we're very hypersensitive to like what's in front of us. Like I'm talking about driving, even walking, I guess, but specifically driving, I guess, because we're moving along. And if we're too distracted, you know, we could not see something. We could, like, depending on how thick this fog is, but we're always able to see at least a little bit in front of us, again, depending on the fog. So Spirit is saying like there's a certain amount of space, your distance, you're able to see, and then your clarity might kick out. And there's a reason why, because you're not meant to see. And you're supposed to be sort of focused in on and dealing with what's in front of you in a very attentive way in order to manage whatever this is. Because if we start to project or anticipate something here and we're like here, like, then of course we could get into an accident, or we might not end up in our destination. So it's like we're just having to see kind of the next step in front of us as things unfold. And sometimes the universe unfolds as it does without our sort of ability to have to control any sort of outcome here. So I think Spirit really wants you to be attentive, alert, and looking at kind of what's in front of you. And also acknowledging that there's things here that you can't see that might be all around you, but you're not privy to seeing it just yet. And sometimes when we go through these temporary situations, then the fog sort of dissipates and then everything becomes very clear. So you guys might certainly be in some sort of unclear situation here, or just feeling like you're navigating in the dark in some way, or in the fog, I should say. So also what I'm getting, sorry, you know how fog kind of sits in certain elevation? I think there's a need for you to, where you can pull yourself, like ascend or pull yourself up, where you can get clearer vision, to do so if you're able to, but not to sort of sit in the fog energy if you don't have to. So I know that could be kind of conflicting in some way, because I do feel like some parts you're needing to navigate the fog, but then also the fog isn't everywhere, right? So are we hanging out in the fog on purpose in some way, making it difficult? Or can we, like, we first need to identify, can we see things from a different perspective here and elevate ourselves where there's no fog? And if we can't, then can we be attentive to what's going on in front of us rather than be anticipating some unseen thing that we might be fearing up the road, or just anticipating in some way? So what do we have? We have overall energy here for Capricorn. And because these revealed itself, I'm assuming this is something that might be in your awareness. We have Four of Swords, Temperance, and the King of Swords in reverse. Interesting energy, Capricorn. We have Sagittarius, Gemini, Libra, Aquarius coming through. This could be heavy in your natal chart, or just someone around you, or just the energy in this reading. But the Temperance here is about how we show up in order to make something successful. So it's either if we're imbalanced, or if we're not healed, or if we don't have the right ingredients within ourselves, or capability to show up in whatever situation, because we're unprepared, or we're just not attentive, or we're missing something, then we can't work with another entity in order to create an outcome that's successful, right? It's like having the right mix, the right ingredients in order to work with someone, with a situation that has a positive outcome. So if we show up fully prepared and with all the ingredients, but then the circumstance is not, then we still can't work within that environment, or with that person, or with that situation. So it's like having to come to our environment prepared, balanced, and having to work in a balanced way with someone or something else here. And so this takes a lot of reflecting. Okay, Four of Swords is a period of pause, really, where we're reflecting, or maybe we're resting, or recuperating, or healing, because these are both healing cards. So I feel like there's a lot of healing. I do feel like it's on your end, or whatever, this energy that I'm reading for this fog person. So it's like we have to sit with truths, okay, in order to deal with Three Swords, which the Three Swords is all about heartbreak. It could be trauma or sadness, where we experience loss or separation, or something here that maybe we're healing from, you know, being separated from the ones we love. This is someone's words, actions, and intentions cause this pain. And maybe we had to sit with this sort of truth and work on ourselves in some way. But I feel here with this King of Swords in reverse, this is like telling me we're not in an energy here, or at least someone that we're working with. So you'll have to know whether this is your energy or someone you're working with, is like kind of cold and removed here, okay? A King of Swords in reverse, it's like somebody who's quite cold, calculating, maybe more about mind games than they are really about being compassionate and opening themselves up emotionally in some way. So it's somebody who might be so much in the logical mind here. They might be like throwing out the baby with the bathwater in some way. So I don't know if you've done this healing and now you're dealing with someone here who is sort of maybe fucking around with you mentally. And so it feels like you're kind of navigating through this fog in some way, or you've had you've been trying to heal, and so you feel like you can't see through this fog. You can't feel safe enough to move throughout this fog the way you want. So you're kind of either very still reflecting or healing and guarded in some way here, because your understanding is that you're not mentally in a mindset here that is healed enough or in an energy of contributing the right ingredient here to create something here that's successful. And you kind of know this because you've been reflecting or trying to heal this about you. So it's like, I can't either communicate about what's happened to me, or I can't see clearly about what's going to happen, or I'm so logically terrified, or maybe it's not even terrified, but like logically in this shut place that doesn't allow anything sort of to be created or flow, because I'm still needing to heal. And if this is someone you're dealing with, it's like, it's just triggering things from the past here that's, you're like taking these little baby steps. Like, is this the same thing I experienced in the past? Like, is this a red flag? Is this somebody here who's cutting me off, or who's really cold? Like, I don't know. I feel a really kind of positive energy though from the healing. Like, I feel like this is healing. This is like in the upright. It's like taking the time to really reflect and work on self. But then there's something here, and we might have to get a clarifier here to see what's going on with this King of Swords in reverse. Okay. So sometimes the reading ends up making sense by the end, and it becomes very clear. And then sometimes I'll have to pull clarifiers if we get to the end and there's still big question marks. Okay, so let's take a look at what you don't see coming. So we have the Fool in reverse, and we have the Eight of Swords in reverse, and then we have the World. Yeah, so what you don't see coming, like, again, take it if this is your energy or not, but I feel like the World's talking about successful conclusion of something. So that's what I was feeling here, was like, I feel there's healing that's been done. Okay, so Spirit's saying maybe in the past, okay, because generally this is my past position, but maybe generally in the past, there's an energy here of you being King of Swords energy, okay? And the King of Swords is more logical than heart, is kind of someone who could be quite cold or removed in some way, or disconnected. And so I feel like there's been a lot of work or healing done here in order to close out a chapter successfully in your life, to really heal certain parts of yourself, to kind of free yourself from any limitation here, especially we're seeing the swords here. So this is like things we tell ourselves. Like Eight of Swords is like where we believe something to be true about ourselves, either because we were taught it, or we just think that we're limited, but it's not necessarily true. And so it keeps us stuck. But I feel like you're releasing yourself from any limitation or held backness, or stories that maybe you told yourself why you were limited or had to be in a certain way. And so I feel like with the Fool in reverse, like maybe we're in an energy here of like recognizing that we don't have to go leaping into something like full steam ahead here. Like the Fool would just kind of, take this leap of faith. With the Fog, it's like being very cautious here and being kind of risk adverse, I guess, to how much of ourselves we can kind of navigate throughout this fog here, without maybe acting foolish. So maybe there's a lot of fear around looking foolish, being foolish, doing something like risky in order to put ourselves back into this like Three of Swords, because I do feel like you're healing from something that might be quite painful in the past. So we don't want to experience that again, or leave ourselves open or susceptible to this. So we're kind of risk adverse, and like really just kind of trying to take these little steps in the fog here. But at the same time, like release any sort of limitations that aren't really limitations. The only limitations we have are the ones we thought we had. And I think one of them might have been your own energy of what it was you told yourself, because King of Swords in reverse could be so illogical, like, or too logical to the point that it's illogical and it's not creating success. So I feel like you want success. And so I feel like what you don't see coming here is your ability to really conclude something here that was limiting, close a chapter, put it behind you, and prepare for the new sort of chapter, because the world is always about what we're planning and incubating here so we can step forward towards the new. And so sometimes we have to release things of the past before we can open up new chapter. Okay, so this is what I see here for the what you don't see coming so far. Let's look at your opportunity. We have the Empress. Oh my goodness, beautiful energy, Taurus energy. And we have the Page of Cups, beautiful energy. And we have the Two of Wands in reverse. Interesting. And here we see the World as well. So I do feel this is going to come into play here with your opportunity. So I think your opportunity is tied into you closing something out, wrapping something up and having closure and completing something within your healing and reflecting and your release of limitations in order for you to make a decision here. Okay, like I think it plays a big part in which way you want to go. Like this is a crossroads. This is we can stick to what we know or the same, or we can choose another path, which is gonna maybe pull us down a different road where we're having to experience a new sort of path that we might not be familiar with here. So I feel like you're kind of in the middle of this crossroads, although it isn't in reverse. So I think your opportunity is having to make a decision, or you made a decision here in regards to this energy that I'm feeling here. This is Empress and Page of Cups. So this is unconditional love. Okay, this is like the Empress is divine feminine energy, and this is abundant, birthing something fruitful. This is unconditional love and divine feminine energy. Now, I don't know necessarily if this is your energy, so you'll have to know whose is what and what's happening here, because I do feel like there's an energy here of somebody being very high value, okay, who is coming through like loving, like mother energy here with this Empress, who is offering like this cup of love with this Page of Cups. This is like innocent, pure love here. And this is like the beginning stages of opening this heart space. So we might be making a decision here with the opportunity, choosing a decision here to open up our heart space and offer love here, unconditional love here in abundance, to create something or show someone their self-worth, or we recognize our self-worth in sticking to an unconditional love that allows us to make a decision here and close out something that might have had us very restricted. Okay, so this is apologies as well. So I don't know, maybe we're deciding to forgive where we can forgive, which allows us to heal. And sometimes when we forgive, we don't have to, you know, outright forgive the person maybe that hurt us, but forgiveness could just mean, you know, forgiving the past and letting go of things that might have not allowed us to see our full value. Okay, and I also feel like this is understanding how we can receive love. Like the Empress here knows how to receive. She knows how to lay boundaries and give love and make the decision to do this comfortably because she knows her self-worth and her value. So Taurus energy we see here. So this is your opportunity. It's actually very beautiful here. Let's look at your challenge then. So challenge, we have the Four of Pentacles in reverse, the Nine of Wands, and the King of Wands in reverse. So King of Wands, Aries, Leo, Sagittarius energy. In the challenge, I feel like the challenge here is this process that I was describing, because Four of Pentacles is where we maybe keep on choosing the same comfort zone path in the past, where we felt very comfortable, but in reverse, it's like knowing what to let go of in order to have closure, in order to heal. We have to know when we can release things that might seem like they're secure or might seem like they're value, but they restrict us from growth because it really limits us. And so the longer we are held back or hanging on to things under one guise or understanding that it's our stability or structure, but we're so held back or focused on how much of a grip we have on that, it restricts us. So I feel like the challenge is letting go of this, because I feel like with this Nine of Wands, this is talking about the spiritual warrior, like going through battle and not giving up and having to go through a challenge here and still be resilient, you know, and still fight. And I feel like this King of Wands doesn't give up, but in the reverse, it's like having the confidence here, because the King of Wands is very, very confident. Like he has the ability, the talent, and the confidence to know he can accomplish really anything he really wants here at any cost, because he's just like the shit in some way here, okay? But in reverse, it's like maybe not being very confident about your own ability of what you can accomplish here or create, because it's still fresh healing, but not giving up either, or not sort of throwing in the towel, like still having a fighting chance here, because you're working on letting go of things here that might have had you held back or might have had you stuck in some way. Okay, so this could be the Eight of Swords. Like we believe we're not confident enough or capable enough or talented enough or good enough, or all the enoughs here that keeps us always stuck and limited. Like, okay, I got to kind of stay where I'm at, or not choose this love or this thing, that this creative pursuit that I want to create, because this is like creating abundance here. Okay, it doesn't have to necessarily be a relationship, but for some of you guys, it could certainly be. This is like opening our heart space to create that thing, to birth that thing we want, but it would put us at risk of getting hurt, or put us having to step forward to work with something else or someone else to allow us to choose this. But in order to choose it, we have to conclude something, release something, and I feel like you are amidst releasing something here that might have had you limited and restricted because of a mindset of thinking we weren't capable or able or confident enough to pull something off or make a decision that would be successful, or that we were healed enough to create the thing. Okay, so let's take a look at the Lenormand cards and see what this has to say. So we see the Sun, beautiful energy. Every time I pull the Sun, for me, it's the most positive card in the tarot, although this is the Lenormand deck, but it is highlighting all the positivity in the spread, and then it kind of waters down any of the negativity when I pull it. So the Sun is contentment, bliss, joy. It's getting the clarity, the certainty. Yeah, it's beautiful. It's also inner child. So we could be doing a lot of inner child healing on self, really seeing and getting very enlightened and really getting clear about what our happiness is. So let's flip all of them so we can see the full story. Here we have the letter, and here we have the whips. So Lenormand is kind of read like a storybook, kind of in the order in which it's sitting. So this is like challenging communication that provides clarity, or this is like, yeah, like a situation here. This could be very difficult, because this is one of the more challenging cards in the Lenormand. It could be, sometimes it could even be physical abuse, but I feel like there was pain here. Again, I was feeling a lot of pain here. Okay, where maybe we experienced pain and we had to communicate, because this is all about like sending off information or communication. It could even be like an apology here, or communicating about something that's caused pain here, in order for there to be enlightenment or certainty or joy, or for us to be free in some way. Yeah, like getting very clear about what was paining us, you know, like what pained us, and understanding this. And maybe it's just like communication that we can even write about to ourselves, so that we get a good understanding and some clarity around pain that we've suffered in some way. Now, for some, I don't feel this is what it is, but I am going to mention it because in the Lenormand, this could be kinky sex, okay? So I don't know what's going on over here, but there's something here about, I don't know, like maybe we have some sort of passionate pursuit here that's communicated, or we're wanting to communicate here that we understand where our happiness or what would bring us some joy here, okay? Like, I don't know, you kind of take what resonates. In the back, we see this cross, and the cross in the Lenormand is all about the cross we bear, like the burdens we bear, and whether we maintain the faith, you know, and the resilience here. I feel like there's something very spiritual about your energy, okay? Like the spiritual warrior coming through. I feel like there's lots of faith coming through here, and we're seeing a bat, and bats have like pretty poor vision. When they say blind as a bat, although I think they can see in their own sort of sonar way, but it's like the fog too. Like we didn't have vision. We were handicapped in some way, and that's why I think the King of Wands here is in reverse. It's like at least we believed, or we thought, because of what we experienced, we were limited by what we could see or how we could navigate. And so we had to rely a lot on our faith. And I might have felt very beat up by our experiences, you know, and if you were like abused or in some way, like I do apologize, you experienced such pain here. And so I don't know, like for me, this is always like formal communication. So I don't know if somebody apologizes to you and maybe it helps to heal in some way or helps to provide clarity. Like this is an email, a text, some sort of formal communication. And it's like sealed, so it might be something we still don't know or see about something, some information, some communication that's still coming in that will allow us to see the light of what we've suffered in some way here. I feel like there's an inspiration coming from you. Yeah, I see this Ace of Wands, which is all about getting inspired. So maybe it's been a while here since we felt inspired, felt capable or confident in our own ability, because our confidence has been sort of beat, or yeah, well, that's not good. Okay, so let's take a look at advice from Spirit, and then we'll clarify what we need to, if we still need to. So we have the Lovers in the same position we had for I don't know if it was Pisces, but it was in the same spot here. So the Lovers, okay, this is Gemini, and then we have the King of Pentacles in reverse. We have the Knight of Pentacles in reverse, and then we have the Seven of Pentacles in reverse. So what is the advice here? Well, all three of these are kind of giving me the exact same energy. Okay, and so the Lovers is always about a choice, and this is our decision. Again, you were getting that in your opportunity. It's like, do we want to choose this relationship, this person? You know, do we want to go down this path of this career or this creative pursuit? Whatever it is that we're choosing here in our path is like, are we following our destiny, our dharma, what we're supposed to sort of go down, right? Like what our faith is sort of telling us, what we feel we're pulled to in some way here. And in order to choose this, we have to deal with certain parts here. And I feel like what I'm seeing with all three of these is like an inability to make something happen in a practical way here. Like you might have believed, again, with this Eight of Swords in reverse, like I'm not able to provide stability or security here because I'm not capable or confident enough to have a long-term vision of some structure that I can build here. So why even sort of put forward this energy or this movement or this effort or offer anything here to go from this Knight of Pentacles to a King of Pentacles? Why even bother? This is like, why even bother? Like, because I want to, but I'm kind of giving up before I've even got going because I don't have it in me, or I'm not healed enough, or I'm not strong enough, or I just don't have the confidence enough to know that I'm capable of, in a practical way, being a solid energy here that can reap the abundance or provide the practical things. So I feel like there's little baby steps in the fog and being very attentive to the next little thing. So I think the advice here from spirits is really coming through with this fog. It's like, the more you feel like you can't create abundance here in a practical way or invest in something that you want, because I feel like there's something here that you love that speaks to your heart in some way that you can choose. And Spirit's saying, yes, you can choose this, but how you get there is like these little steps forward in the fog and being very attentive to what's in front of you, not getting lost in what could happen down the future here because we experience something here that maybe keeps us on high alert, and we don't want to experience the pain or the Three of Swords again because we just sort of healed from this, right? So we might have been very cold and standoffish here, not wanting to, or thinking we're not capable of investing or put in the right sort of energy that would get something solid going. So we didn't really make a choice. And I feel like you're wrapping this up, like this cycle in your world, like you're closing out this chapter. You're releasing limiting beliefs where you think maybe you're not good enough, or you can't take this risk, or that you're unhealed, or that, you know, that you can't take these baby steps in some way, and breaking barriers. Because I feel like there's something here that makes you really happy and speaks to your heart's content in some way, despite, you know, maybe suffering something that you have here that seems kind of painful. And I don't know, like maybe that passionate, like sexual energy I was getting from here, it could be creative energy, because that comes from the sacral chakra. Okay. And obviously, I mean, sex would pull that same energy out of us. And that's why we get inspired and very creative when we're pulled passionately by other people and inspired to do so. So I feel like your fire is invigorated here, like your sacral chakra, like your desire to allow yourself to open up here in some way. Because I feel like you connect to something, or you understand something here that could be birth, that's unconditional love and all abundant, that brings absolute joy and bliss here. And I think it speaks to your inner child. So it could be something you've always wanted, you know. Yeah, so I'm going to pull a clarifier here just for this King of Swords, because I don't know that I did that justice, but I feel like the reading is pretty straightforward. Spirit, what's with this King of Swords in reverse? King of Pentacles in reverse. Yeah, so this is exactly this, okay, and all this. It's like both King of Pentacles. This is Virgo, Taurus, Capricorn. So Capricorn energy is your energy coming through, and it's like not clear and being logical about the fact that we could be something stable and commit to something long-term, because we had a misconception or an understanding that wasn't real. Like this limitation in our mind kept us hostage and didn't allow us to take risks, or didn't allow us to explore what fired us up or what brought us bliss and joy, because we were too afraid to maybe get hurt, or to understand, maybe it's not even fear, but understand that we didn't have a limitation on ourselves, that we didn't have to endure more pain than we had to suffer, that we can experience abundance and joy here. And you're able to commit to a long-term thing here, if this is what you want, that telling yourself that you're incapable of being stable or long-term or practical in sort of a pentacle realm, which is in the right here, right now, practical way of manifesting something, you know, of actually choosing this. You might have been telling yourself an untruth, or not very clear or logical about this. So it was like removing or being very cold, or cutting yourself off from opportunity. Yeah, because of a misconception here. So I am going to pull one here for this Empress Page of Cups here, to see if we can see what this is all about in your opportunity. What is this Empress Page of Cups, Two of Wands all about? Eight of Cups in reverse. So yes, this is Spirit identifying, like in order for you to attain an opportunity here and make a decision, there's a need to recognize what we need to emotionally walk away from that doesn't emotionally fulfill us and cause us pain. So if we were involved in anything that at one point might have emotionally kind of fulfilled us, or we understood it to be emotionally fulfilling, but it no longer did this, it's like, do we keep committing to a situation that doesn't bring emotional fulfillment? Because I feel like the healing was happening, and then I feel like maybe there was some sort of thought that made you feel like you had to be stuck in a reverse King of Swords, and because you just healed, so why would you take a risk, or why would you ever go into a same situation here if you already experienced loss? And it's like, well, it's not the same situation. It's a complete different sort of situation, although it might be, you know, I don't know, like following your same career, or opening up a, I don't know, like a business, or like following down the path with a new relationship. But it would require you walking away from not wanting to be unhappy and I think Eight of Swords is like an unhappy place to be, because it's like telling ourselves we're restricted or limited or incapable when we're not. So I feel like Spirit's really saying like there's a need to address, walk away from anything that keeps you emotionally unsatisfied. And when you do this, then you're able to make a decision here to close out a chapter. And when you close this chapter of walking away, you choose the wand here that opens up this beautiful abundance. Like you're creating something with another entity here, whether it be a person or a thing, that you could create this beautiful thing, birth something new. Okay, and I feel like you couldn't do this if you were not healed enough or like released any restriction here, and know that this is possible by taking these baby steps. Sorry, these cards are looking like an oinky pigsty. Okay, let's just pull one for fog then. Okay, why is the fog here? Because I do feel like that's guidance. I mean, that's the energy you're supposed to encompass, and I feel like Spirit really wants you to sort of be alert to what's in front of you and not worry about what's in the distance. So this fell in my lap, Four of Cups, and way too many cards here, barfed all over the place. So Four of Cups revealed itself. What is this telling me? So Four of Cups is where we could be really unhappy with what has happened and emotionally unsatisfied, but too much in that energy where we're not seeing the blessing from the universe. So this is kind of like my breakup card, or like my someone who just came out of something and emotionally they're like hurt and don't want to explore, and they'd rather just stay home and maybe sulk or go over what didn't work and keep themselves in this energy. But this is an Eight of Swords, and it keeps somebody like emotionally unsatisfied, because I feel like there's something, or some communication here, or an understanding that provides clarity around what makes you happy, that pulls you out of pain or suffering in some way. So you're able to accept a cup of the universe, which is a cup of love, like opening this heart space that might have been shut out. And so the fog is telling you, like, don't be so focused on looking at the things here that are in the fog now. Like, only be focused on what's clear to you and in front of you that makes logical sense, but isn't based on a falsity of a limitation, and isn't based on an experience of the past that hurt us, that keeps us emotionally sort of unhappy, because we could get stuck there. And in the fog, we can't really see clearly. So it's like, what is very clear? What is it that we know for sure? Is it based on a truth, or is it a limitation based on an understanding we developed because of a hurt? And if we tell ourselves that we're incapable, like, is this a true, that we're not this sort of visionary person that can create stability and abundance for ourselves? Okay, so is that true, or is that just coming from a hurt place here? And so we don't take the cup that's being offered by the universe, by what wants to be gifted to us. So navigate this fog, and you'll find your way through there, and the fog eventually does subside here. Okay, so you might have to elevate, like I said, to a different perspective, so you could see past maybe pains or past situations that hurt you and then keep you emotionally unsatisfied. So we stay here. Like, are we rising ourselves or vibration above this, so we can see clearly that there is something here worth choosing? Okay, and I think your opportunity is here making this choice, and knowing that the choice is in your hand here to do this. Okay, so this is what I have for you guys, Capricorn. I hope this resonated for you. I love you so, so much. Check out your other sign placements if that resonates for you, and I will see you soon. Bye. Hello, my most beautiful Aquarius. Cannot wait to get into your reading, last reading of the day. And I am doing new moon readings here for the zodiac signs, because I do all my monthly zodiac signs lined up with the new moon. So this is the new moon of Pisces, although all my readings are timeless. Doesn't have to fall in that new moon. Just take the next new moon as the time period, and it will be for that lunar cycle rather than the calendar cycle. Okay, so we're looking at the sign of Aquarius, and we'll be looking at your overall energy, what you don't see coming, opportunity, challenge, and then advice from Spirit. And if I'm picking up on energy that sounds like energy around you, not your energy, then crisscross it as you see fit. Okay, so sun, moon, rising, heavy Aquarius placements, checking up on your favorite Aquarius person is all welcome here. So let's take a look at overall energy here for Aquarius spirit. Clear and concise message for the greatest and highest good of Aquarius. Please protect me and the viewer as I channel this message. Thank you so much, Aquarius, for allowing me to tap into your energy, the energy around you at this time. I am truly blessed. Thank you so much. Okay, what you don't see coming. What you don't see coming. And then opportunity for Aquarius. What is the opportunity for Aquarius? I'm feeling this one on the bottom. Opportunity for Aquarius spirit. Opportunity and challenge for Aquarius. What is the challenge for the lunar month ahead? Challenge. And what is the advice? Guidance from spirit. Advice, how to navigate. We have the Five of Pentacles kind of spinning around. We have the Five of Swords. We have Temperance in reverse. We have Queen of Wands, Empress, and Ace of Cups. Wow, okay. Lots of cards coming out for the advice. Now, for this reading, I am pulling Lenormand cards just to give us some depth to this reading. So 3 cards here for the energy for Aquarius. We have the Fish, which wanted to reveal itself. 2 more spirits. 1 more. I'm feeling this one. Oh, I'm actually feeling that one. Wow, you guys got quite a bit of cards. Okay, so last card here for the Oracle card. What is the energy Aquarius is being asked to encompass for this month ahead? Okay, so you're being asked to encompass the Blue Temple. Interesting. This came out for 2 other zodiac signs here. So Blue Temple, this is an interesting energy, you know. Blue is a very interesting energy. It is like a healing energy here, but what I'm getting for you guys with this Blue Temple, it's like really tapping into parts of yourself here that maybe we're needing to do deeper healing on, but also reflecting on here, like a deeper understanding of where we sit energetically, emotionally, and our understanding of things that are going on around us, how they impact us, how are they, yeah, like impacting how we show up, or our own energy, our own mood, like who we hang around with, what we sort of take away from our experiences. This is kind of what I'm picking up with this Blue Temple, which is a lot different than what I was picking up with the other signs here, but we'll see what comes through in this reading here more for you. But I feel like Spirit really wants you to sort of sit in this energy of reflection, okay? So let's take a look. Maybe there's something fresh here that's gone on that we're needing to really reflect on in some way. Okay, let's look at your overall energy. We have 6 of Wands. We have the Knight of Swords in reverse, and we have the 9 of Pentacles in reverse. So 6 of Wands, this is success, and this is sometimes public victory, or how we're sort of being appreciated and seen by other people. And Knight of Swords in reverse with the 9 of Pentacles in reverse. So I don't know, like I feel as though maybe we pulled away abruptly from something maybe that made us feel uncomfortable, is kind of what I'm feeling. Like, I feel as though you've been dealing with, or there's a situation, which again, I don't know where you sit energetically on this timeline, but maybe you were being visible to all, or I don't know, like being in an energy here where all could kind of see what was going on with you in some way. And I feel like maybe you made a quick exit or like an escape from something here. And I don't know, like trying to get back to the basics, or trying to see what it is. Yeah, like this Blue Temple, like I was saying, it's like returning back to really reflecting and reviewing what's important here, because 9 of Pentacles is like, what are we Are we dependent on other things or people to give us a sense of stability, or can we stand on our own? Are we hyper independent, or are we capable of just being successful on our own? So I feel like there was like a quick withdrawal of something, or like a flurry of maybe you, like I do feel, again, you can crisscross energy if it's not you, but it's like pulling away in order to find out what truly matters or what you're depending on. Because maybe, you know, you don't want to be perceived as something else, or you want to really have success in something. And so maybe you identified, if I go down this road, like maybe I could have success, but I really want to reflect and review, like, is this something that's going to allow me to be successful and independent? Or is this kind of a false success that will make me dependent on something I don't want? And so I feel like there was a pullback of energy. That's interesting. Okay, we'll pull some clarifiers if we need, but sometimes the reading becomes clear as we go along. Okay, so let's take a look at what you don't see coming. We have Nine of Wands, we have the Nine of Cups, and we have the Page of Pentacles in reverse. So this is the resilience card, okay, where we don't give up and we keep fighting for emotional happiness here. I feel like this is also a guarded energy. So I feel like there is something within you wanting and knowing. Yes. Okay. Thank you, Spirit. So I feel like there's something within you that knows what emotionally makes you happy. Like, you know what this is, and you're not wanting to just kind of go along or give in to anything here. So I feel like maybe you had to put up a wall or your defenses, or pull away in some way, maybe quickly, to keep something out in order for you to sit back and really reflect on whether this is what you want or not follow up. And I feel like whatever this was, or whatever this opportunity is, like, I feel like potentially you're realizing that this isn't something that would bring you fulfillment, or you're contemplating not totally like giving up on it, but saying, let me think about this before I follow up on this opportunity, because I'm not sure that I want to. Or I might have more questions about whether this does emotionally fulfill me. And I know this is the most important thing for me, is to bring in happiness here and be successful. So let me sit on this before I keep investing or engaging or being out in the open. So it's like something on ice or on pause, or not following up on something here, or manifesting it more until we know whether this is something that's going to positively support your independence, or is it something you're not really wanting to engage with, whatever this opportunity is that you're looking at manifesting. So let's look at your opportunity here for the month. We have Page of Swords in reverse, Seven of Cups, and the Ten of Wands in reverse. So I feel like your opportunity here kind of ties into this. It's like, if we don't ask the questions, we'll never really know the answers, and it'll keep us in confusion here. So there's like a falling apart here, I feel like, for a reason. Like the Ten of Wands, where it's in reverse, it's like we can't no more carry the burden, and like it's the final straw that broke the camel's back. So we put an end to something. I feel like you put an end to carrying something out that might eventually would have been a burden, or you recognize that it was going in the direction that maybe you could have had success, but maybe it was like a fleeting or an empty success here that would have led to some sort of outcome that didn't allow you to have the freedom or the dependence that you really wanted. And so this is kind of the opportunity, because it's like now you're kind of seeing it as something that you need to get more clarity on, you know, that maybe what you thought you were clear about at one point reveals itself as something that isn't worthy for whatever reason. And so the opportunity is to allow it to kind of fall apart, or you pull away in some way, so that it doesn't keep going in some way, so you can then have to choose from all of your options rather than committing to something and then it kind of being over. It's like leaving all the doors open so you can really choose wisely here. But I think you're really needing to ask yourself the right questions here. And maybe in the past we weren't asking the right questions, or we weren't seeing the truth about something, so we weren't very clear. Maybe we're very muddled about what. No, I feel like at one point you were clear. And maybe we didn't give it a lot of thought, but we were clear about it until we maybe had to put the brakes on and say, wait, hold on now. I didn't do my due diligence. Yeah, I didn't do my due diligence, so now I'm confused, and now I'm just going to let it kind of, I don't know, sit on ice, or if it falls apart, it falls apart, but I want to be certain, so I need to do more like hermit work here, I feel, or like reflect on what I want to do. And then, yeah, I'm feeling like all the steps I need to do in order to attain what I want, which I feel you want to manifest something here of either success, but success in the right way, or the stability in the right way, or your independence in the right way, not just get success for the sake of it, or follow down this opportunity just because. Like if this is a job opportunity, it's like, I don't want to just take it because now it's available. Like, is this the right job? I don't want to be here, you know, a few months from now repeating the same thing. Or like if this is a relationship, it's like, is it going to bring me emotional happiness? Will this job bring me emotional happiness? So it's like, I'm not going to just take this offer where maybe at one point you're like, yeah, I'm going to take it or go along with it. And then it's like, well, I'm going to just remove myself. And if this is meant to be, then it will happen. But I need to kind of put my wall up so I can really understand this. And if it falls apart, then I guess it wasn't meant to be, but I can't close out any of my other options here. So let's see what your challenge is. We have Knight of Pentacles in reverse. We have the Tower. And we have the High Priestess. So the challenge here is you don't know what's going to happen when you put it on ice, or you all of a sudden pull back in some way, like, and don't go along with what you might have initially intended, or manifest the thing, or in the practical way that was supposed to unfold. So it's like you've pulled back here, and there is a risk of it falling apart. And although we see this as the opportunity, it's like, because there might be something better here, and you don't want to just give away your opportunities. But at the same time, that's also a challenge, because you don't know if it's going to collapse, and then you can't, once you maybe decide, oh, you know what, like, yeah, maybe this is what I want, or whatever didn't work will lead you back to this thing that you had to turn down, or that you had to put your brakes on. And it's like, now it's a tower. It's like, it could just fall apart on you in some way, and you'll have to like pick up the pieces or the rubble of your actions of not pursuing or not chasing up on this. And it could be no longer standing here as a tower. So it's kind of like a surprise. Like, you don't know what will happen, if it will be a loss or if it'll be a gain. And so that's the challenge, is like, I have to do what's best for me, but at the risk of maybe not seeing that maybe the best thing here could fall apart in some way, because I'm still unclear if that's part of the option, you know. Like, I still feel like this isn't off the table. That's why we're still, you know, we haven't given up on it. We still don't know if it brings us emotional happiness, but it's like, hold on, like, I don't want to choose it right away, because there could be another job offer coming in, or another thing coming in here. So I don't know if we like turn down that job, or if we delay, that job might not want us back, or that relationship might, you know, this person might say, hey, like, you didn't want to pursue me, so now it's like your loss kind of thing. So I feel like that's the challenge. So let's look at the Lenormand cards. Now, when I reveal the tarot, anything that is revealed, it is what's in our conscious awareness. Anything that's face down is sort of in our subconscious that we're not seeing. So all of this was in the subconscious, but the advice was in the face up, and same with this. So I feel like, you know, this advice from spirit, because I feel like this is higher self as well coming through as something, you know. So we'll get through to the advice, but I feel like you already know this, but it's a matter of maybe what you were doing, whether it was lined up with this or not. You know, like, sometimes we just do things here for, I don't know, like blind victory in some way, or out of ego in some way, but I feel like you might have stopped yourself. So let's look at the Lenormand and see if we could get some more clarity. Fish is about abundance and material wealth, okay, in the Lenormand, but I'm also feeling sometimes fish for me is like a little bit aimless. So I'm feeling this like a need to decide. So we can have a lot of different things, and we need to decide which way to go. Okay, which I know is not Lenormand speak, but for me, that's kind of what I'm feeling. But I'm going to pull these, or I'm going to reveal these, and then we'll read them in the order of Lenormand, because they're kind of read like a storybook. So each card's going to impact the card behind it. Okay, so we have the house, we have the dog, and we have the moon. Okay, so like I said, success here, but needing to get more pointed here. And the house, to me, this is all about family, structure, the foundation, the stability. the thing we're building to try to have the success. And I feel for you, it's like independent success, or like you standing on your own, not being dependent here, maybe having your freedom or the structure you want. And I see the peacock here, which for me, peacock symbolizes like our pride, and it could be our ego, which there's ego card in this. Okay, and so, and it's right beside the sun. I mean, this is 10 of Wands, but the sun is here. So, and this big old sun as well in the reverse. So sometimes sun in reverse could be ego. And when I mean ego is like we're not seeing, where we're acting out of maybe like our subconscious, where we're kind of reactionary in some way. So I feel like maybe we caught ourselves, or maybe we were getting prideful, or something was happening here where maybe we knew it wasn't for our best interest to follow along here. And we want to be loyal and stick to what we know we can dedicate ourselves to and commit ourselves to, like in a loyal way. This is the friendship card. This is loyalty. Okay, so it's like a loyal family structure here that's based on like abundance and success, built on a good way. And the moon isn't your typical moon in the Lenormand here, because the moon energy, which let's read from this book specifically, because I mean, Lenormand is usually pretty standard message, but the moon is not traditional tarot, unless in this book it is, but let's see what it is in this book. So it says the moon denotes that you can count on success, acknowledgement, and promotion. It also stands for intuition, psychic powers, and the soul. Yes, that's what I was feeling. Okay, so I was feeling like you know best. Like Spirit is saying, like, you know best here, what makes you tick and what's going to work. And so maybe we were getting pulled or carried away with other successes or things here that didn't represent us or reflect who we were. And maybe we were needing to really slow down in this, because I feel like we really want the best success here based on fulfillment, like actual success. Like that's going to create the best structure. That's going to be the most abundant foundation for us. We don't want to build something here that's faulty that we're just going to have to rebuild anyway. So I feel like you're doing it right, and you're being very loyal to yourself. And I feel like you're like, yeah, like befriending your own decision here, and really like backing it up here with your actions. But I also feel like maybe you have somebody around you here that you can rely on as well, that kind of sees the same vision as you, that can help kind of, yeah, like help you with this. But I feel like this is more of you needing to do something on your own, is kind of what I feel. So let's take a look at the advice, and if we still have questions, we'll pull some clarifiers. 5 of Pentacles, 5 of Swords, Temperance in reverse, Queen of Wands, Empress, and Ace of Cups. So very heavy energies on top, very positive energies in the bottom. Like 5 of Pentacles, out in the cold. This could be a job loss. This could be being out in the cold. This could be, you know, getting into conflict with other people here, self-sabotaging, a no-win situation where, you know, other people are just not playing nice, or we're not playing by the rules, or we're self-sabotaging in some way here, and it causes imbalance, and it doesn't allow a situation to come together and flow in a healed way, in a balanced way, so it's not cohesive. So I feel like you're trying to prevent something that might pan out to be not cohesive without doing your due diligence, I feel here. So I feel like you understand that you're needing to sit with energy to say, is this something that has long-term abundance for me, that's structured, or am I going to be feeling left out in the cold here? Like, are people going to kind of sabotage this? Like, I know a truth here, and I'm going to have to walk and talk in an authentic truth, regardless of what I need to put an end to here with the skull. I'm feeling Scorpio energy here, and Sagittarius energy, Taurus energy, Aries, Leo, Sagittarius energy, Pisces energy. Yeah, so I feel this is like on top. And then here we have Queen of Wands, Empress, and Ace of Cups. This is like, dang, like I know my self-worth here. I see my value. I know why I don't need to settle. I deserve the best. I need to be shown that, you know, whatever I engage with is a reflection of who I am. And I got to love myself here with this Ace of Cups. Like, no one's going to fill my cup the way I can here, because Ace of Cups is all about self-love and this emotional new beginning, but it's us being healed enough and expressive enough in a way with an overflowing cup that we're able to now engage with situations where we can show up in a healthy, healed way. But if we're experiencing imbalance or situations that don't reflect our value and appreciate who we are here, then we can't engage in a positive way. So this is like birthing something new. This is also a lot of abundance. This is the most abundance I could pull from the Lenormand and the most abundance I could pull from the tarot. So I feel like you know your abundance, your self-worth, you're magnetizing here. There's like a strength about you, like a determination. And I feel like there's like, I don't need to depend on anyone else here. You know, and I don't feel it's like a hyper independence, but I feel it's like I want to be able to be independent on my wins and my victories here, that I know my self-worth and my abundance, so I can rely on my own self to make me happy. I feel like you know this, and Spirit is just reminding you of this. And sometimes we have to sit here in reflecting in this, and sometimes going through what we've experienced, no matter how painful, to say, you know what, I got to put an end to certain things here, or at least I got to just acknowledge, you know, what actually makes me happy, and be loyal to what's really going to be secure and abundant for me, and look out for myself, because I know what I deserve here. And if things fall apart, then let them fall apart. And if they're meant for me, then they'll come to me, sort of energy. Like, yeah, like even if that means I got to be confused for a bit, or you know, until I'm certain, like I need to ask all these